Chapter 551. Demon Hero Region. Demon Hero Pagoda. In a mental secret chamber. Xiaofan went into seclusion again and began to cultivate. He sat cross-legged. Xiaofan's seclusion this time was different from the previous seclusion. Seriously speaking, it was completely different. Previously, Xiaofan cultivated true qi. The true acupoints all over his body lit up and burst forth with a holy light that shone through the ages. His body was surrounded by layers of colorful lights and auspicious clouds. The overflowing true qi made people feel like they were bathing in the spring breeze. Bathed in this light, one could feel warmth, justice, peace, and greatness. But at this moment, Xiaofan's body was full of demonic aura. The evil demonic aura constantly swept and rolled, bursting forth with the howls of evil ghosts and souls, bursting forth with the heart-wrenching sound of tens of thousands of demons crying and wailing. In the secret chamber, the evil demonic illusion of the demon realm kept appearing. All kinds of demon realm plants kept growing. If an ordinary person was in such an environment filled with demonic aura, their mind would definitely collapse, their soul would be contaminated and corroded, and they would either go crazy or die. Xiaofan, on the other hand, was enjoying himself. The demon the arch left arm palm greedily devoured the demonic aura energy. The entire demon race army of thousands of demon thearchs, countless demon emperors, their corpses, and soul essences were all absorbed by my demon the arch left arm palm. Now, I'm refining these resources bit by bit to nourish and strengthen my demon the arch left arm palm. Originally, my left arm demon monarch's palm couldn't refine such a huge amount of resources due to its quality. It would take a long time for my left arm demon monarch's palm to refine a slightly powerful demon monarch's corpse. But now, the left arm demon monarch's palm seems to have been modified by the demon god's will. Xiaofan also had many doubts. He slowly raised his left arm. At this moment, the tattoo on the left arm of the demon monarch seemed to have formed an evil and self-contained demon clan's plane. It was filled with the corpses, consciousness, and soul fragments of the powerful and evil demon clan. If any of these fragments were to reach the human realm, it would cause an apocalypse with unimaginable consequences. Right now, the tattoo on the left arm of the demon monarch was frantically refining the resources and energy, causing the quality of the left arm of the demon monarch to rise and evolve continuously. The speed at which the demonic monarch left arm refines the corpses and souls of the demonic race is more than 10,000 times faster than before. Furthermore, the capacity of this left monarch beast's palm has increased by more than 10,000 times. For example, this left demon emperor's palm used to be like a skinny man who could only eat 3 bowls of rice in one meal. But now, it has become a huge monster, a giant, a monster that can eat hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of tons of food in one meal. If it was in the past, I wouldn't have been able to refine such a huge amount of demon race energy. Once it surged into the demonic the arch left arm palm, it would definitely explode. Moreover, the most abnormal thing is that when the demonic the arch left arm palm absorbs and refines the demonic clan's energy, there are no restrictions, and there are no bottlenecks. When it breaks through, it seems to have no upper limit. Before this, Xiaofan's demonic the arch left arm palm seemed to be affected by genes. Therefore, it had to constantly mutate and improve its quality in order to absorb the demon race's energy and awaken the demonic meridians. Sometimes, when awakening the demonic meridians, there would be restrictions. It had to find an opportunity to break through the shackles and open the demonic meridians. At this moment, the demonic the arch left arm palm no longer had any shackles. It was like a bottomless abyss. No matter how huge the demon race's energy was, it could be absorbed together. It would absorb everything. Without a doubt, Xiaofan's demonic the arch left arm palm had been transformed. It had undergone a complete transformation. It had been turned upside down. It was reborn. Now, it was as if the interior of the demonic the arch palm had formed a small world with stable order. It was extremely sturdy, and there was even a thick dark red space crystal wall. Moreover, it seemed to be able to communicate with the demon realm beyond the 9 heavens. In the interior of the demonic the arch-palm, countless demonic meridians shuttled back and forth like destructive demonic dragons. There were also many fallen angels with blood-red wings singing, sprinkling down the glory and light of the demon god. The singing and faith of the ancient demon race lingered. The densely packed demon race's energy fragments dissipated like snowflakes under the terrifying demonic aura of the demonic the arch-palm. They merged into each demonic meridian and became nourishment, causing the demonic meridians to continuously awaken. Tens of thousands of demonic meridians awakened at the same time, and the capacity of each demonic meridian was expanding. At the same time, the demon emperor crystals that had been shattered into powder were perfectly repaired. They were like the most beautiful gems in the world, and they were embedded into the grooves of the demonic the arch-palm. The essence of the demonic mystic arts flowed into Xiaofan's sea of consciousness like a gentle mountain spring, imprinting on Xiaofan's mental energy star so that Xiaofan could master these mystic arts. Even the demonic the arch-mystic arts inheritance lingered in Xiaofan's soul. Moreover, before this, whenever Xiaofan's demonic the arch-palm was exhausted, he had to kill demons to absorb their energy or absorb the heavenly desolate demon fruit to replenish the lost demonic force. But now, the demonic the arch-palm had formed a world of its own, and demonic aura circulated in it. Even if the demonic force was exhausted, it could replenish itself. Oh my God! Now, the demonic the arch-palm has exceeded the scope of a demonic the arch. It has evolved into an evil creature that is superior to any demonic the arch. Xiaofan saw that his entire left arm was shining brightly, emitting streams of high-level demonic chi natal energy. The origin energy was definitely more powerful than any of the powerful demonic thearchs from the alternate dimensions that Xiaofan had killed earlier. All of a sudden, the wind and clouds on Xiaofan's left arm rose again, and a change occurred. On his left arm, densely packed reverse scales grew out. These reverse scales were extremely ancient, sharp, and engraved with exquisite and demonic mysterious patterns. Billowing thoughts were transmitted from them. They shone with a demonic luster. The sharpness of each reverse scale could cut through the sky and tear apart all living things. It was much more terrifying than an immortal artifact flying sword. Soon, Xiaofan's left arm was covered with reverse scales. They were densely packed. It was a ghastly sight. Now, not to mention the use of demonic secret techniques, Xiaofan's claws alone could tear everything apart with the sharp reverse scale. For example, although the demonic thearchs that he had killed earlier had strong and impregnable bodies, they would be as fragile as paper under the cutting of the reverse scales. At this moment, Xiaofan finally looked at his heart when he sensed the drastic changes in the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm. It's a demon god. A wisp of the demon god's consciousness has modified the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm. It has made the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm surpass the demonic the arch level. That's right. The demon god was the overlord of the universe. Killing immortals was as easy as drinking water and eating. It was easy for it to modify a demonic the arch-palm. It only needed a wisp of its consciousness to complete it. Damn it, the demon god is causing trouble. Xiaofan cursed. Then, he gathered his mind power and released a mind wave, which permeated and swept across his left arm. Xiaofan was worried that the demon god would use the opportunity of modifying the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm to control his limbs with its supreme will. Fortunately, Xiaofan finally discovered that the wisp of the demon god's consciousness only nourished and evolved the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm. Apart from that, there was nothing else. Xiaofan was much more at ease now. Forget it. I can't resist the demon god's will. It wants to modify my demonic the arch-palm on my left arm, so I'll let it do as it pleases. All in all, it's good to be able to increase my combat strength. After all, immortals will descend in a few years to look for me. Immortals are arrogant. They won't be polite to me, right? Therefore, with this evolved demonic the arch-arm, I have more means to protect myself. Xiaofan threw all his worries to the back of his mind and focused on observing the changes in the demonic the arch-palm. During his previous trip to the demon metropolis, Xiaofan had killed many demon emperors, including many mutated demon emperors and ultimate mutated demon emperors. As a result, the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm had mutated a few times and benefited a lot. When he left the demon metropolis, the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm had awakened 600,000 demonic meridians. The capacity of each demonic meridian was 150 times that of ordinary demon emperors. It had 9 billion cauldrons of pure demonic power. At that time, the 9 billion cauldrons of power was enough for Xiaofan to defeat ordinary powerhouses in the demonic hero pagoda. He could even rely on demonic techniques to fight against the powerhouses of the ancient era. However, after reaching the genius zone, even if the demonic the arch-palm was not suppressed, the mere 9 billion cauldrons of power would not be of much use. For example, Xiaohan's demonic power and demonic technique would not be able to fight against the likes of Li Xiaotian, who had trillions of cauldrons of power. After improving his flesh shell, mental strength, saber intent, and true qi realm, Xiaofan originally thought that his demonic the arch-palm had become useless and would no longer be able to help him kill his enemies. However, the situation had been reversed. Awakened. 700,000 demonic meridians. 800,000 demonic meridians. 900,000 demonic meridians. The capacity of the demonic meridians increased by 200 times. Increased by 300 times. Increased by 400 times. Demonic qi was like smoke. The demonic power was soaring. The quality of the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm was getting stronger and stronger. Poof. 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 Many reverse scales grew crazily, and demonic symbols flashed. Moreover, what was even more shocking was that there were tentacles growing on the demonic the arch-palm. The tentacles were extremely strange and terrifying. They were crimson and soft, like the tentacles of an octopus. These tentacles trembled slightly and burst out with an incomparably evil sneer, as if they were alive. However, Xiaofan realized that the tentacles were not living creatures. Instead, they had a close connection with his mental waves. It was as if the evil tentacles were born from his mental waves. Xiaofan closed his eyes slightly. With a thought, the tentacles began to extend and swim in all directions. With another thought, the tentacles began to shrink and retract under the skin of the demonic the arch-palm. They were like the tentacles of a snail. He could use his mental power to control the tentacles at will. Not only did the tentacles possess strong power, but they were also extremely tough and dense. They even contained a terrifying power that could devour everything like a black hole. It seems very interesting. After understanding that the tentacles were just an extension of his mental power and the demonic the arch-palm on his left arm, Xiaofan became playful. Poof 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 poof, the dense tentacles shot out from Xiaofan's left arm demonic the arch-palm. These tentacles easily penetrated the walls of the Wuxia pagoda and penetrated into many secret rooms. Through these tentacles, Xiaofan could very clearly see the female demon hero, Elaine, who was in charge of this floor of the spirit house, was in an elegant and clean bathroom. Her smooth skin, her curvaceous body, her protruding peaks, her sunken and serene areas, including the luxuriant grass, were all exposed to the tentacles' scanning range. The other tentacles also saw some demon heroes who were drinking in the lounge. He saw some male and female monsters having sex with each other. They were enjoying themselves and enjoying themselves. They saw some demon heroes who were praying and worshipping Xiaofan. Poof. 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 The dense and thick tentacles shot out of the demon hero pagoda. They swayed in the wind. The demon hero pagoda, which had stood for 10,000 years, was now like a monster full of tentacles. It was incredible. Ah! That's What's that? Some of the demon heroes who were standing in the square outside the demon hero pagoda were scared out of their wits when they saw the countless tentacles that shot out. However, in the next moment, Xiaofan had already retracted his tentacles. Don't panic. It must be Xiaofan. He's cultivating a supreme demonic technique. Everyone, do your own things and don't disturb Xiaofan's cultivation. The demon heroes finally calmed down and bowed deeply to the area where Xiaofan was cultivating in seclusion. Only then did they quietly disperse, not daring to make a fuss. To be continued. Chapter 552. It's not a problem for every tentacle to kill a demonic emperor. Even if I can't strangle him to death, I can at least entangle him and trap him, giving me a chance to attack. Xiaofan played around for a while before retracting all of his tentacles. Moreover, he was discovering more and more of the wonders of these tentacles. Each of the tentacles has a powerful devouring and absorbing power, as well as demonic qi that can pollute true qi. In this way, even if I don't die immediately after being entangled by the tentacles, I will be devoured by the tentacles bit by bit. Amazing, truly amazing. Xiaofan continued his seclusion in the Wuxia pagoda's secret mental chamber. 10 days and 10 nights of seclusion. No distractions. In these 10 days of seclusion, Xiaofan had already gained a thorough understanding of the mutated and evolved demon monarch left arm palm. Reverse scale, antennae. It was an evil creature born from the left arm of the demon the Arch. As a result, the demonic monarch palm's offensive and destructive power increased explosively. However, the most obvious change was within the demon emperor's palm. The space crystal wall inside the demon emperor's palm grew thicker and thicker, becoming impregnable. It formed a world of its own. High-level demonic qi circulated endlessly, and all kinds of demon world phenomena were born and destroyed. The demon vein was like an evil dragon. Fallen blood angels of the demon realm were born and destroyed one after another. They were constantly splashing the glory of the demon god and strengthening the demon god's blessings. His demon meridians continued to awaken. The capacity of the demonic meridians continued to expand. Demon veins awakened. 5 million demon veins. 6 million demon veins. 7 million demon veins. The demon veins' capacity has expanded by 1,000-fold. Magnified by 1,500 times. It was 1,700 times larger. The demon monarch's palm was going to absorb and refine all the energy essence of the demon race army, awaken as many demon veins as possible, and expand the demon veins' energy. In the end, hideous and terrifying bone spikes protruded from the left arm of the demon emperor. These bone spikes were stained with ancient demon blood. It was a very pure demon bloodline that was many times more noble than the demon bloodline in the mortal world. Deep within that bloodline was the most primal and thick demonic energy that came from the beginning of the eternal universe. There were even some demonic runes flashing on the bone spurs. I can feel a terrifying demonic power flowing through my left arm like a surging river. Xiaofan could not help but raise his left arm. Puff! 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 Under the control of Xiaofan's mind, the scales, spikes, and antennae on his left arm retracted and retracted into the demonic god's palm. This made Xiaofan's left arm look no different from a human's. His skin was translucent like jade and full of vitality. On his left shoulder, there was a beautiful and realistic demonic god's palm tattoo. Xiaofan slowly spread open the 5 fingers on his left hand. Demonic qi swirled around his 5 fingers. Indistinctly, one could hear the roars and anger of the ancient demon race, as well as the hymn to the demon god. With a slight movement of his palm, a demonic ocean, a demonic palace, a demonic plain, furthermore, with the restoration of countless demon emperor crystals, as well as the refinement of over 1,000 demon monarch inheritances, Xiaofan had grasped thousands, or even tens of thousands of demonic arts and secret arts. Because the demonic god's palm on his left arm had evolved, Xiaofan could use any demonic art or forbidden art as he pleased. My combat strength has reached the peak. Xiaofan casually waved his hand. A thick demonic qi rushed out like a beacon of smoke. Within a breath, it turned into a centipede, spider, poisonous bee, demonic mosquito, demonic insect, psychedelic butterfly. Although these demonic creatures were formed by demonic qi, they were vivid and lifelike. They flew around in this secret mental room, corroding the air and devouring the space. This is merely an ordinary demonic technique sealed in a demonic emperor crystal, the ancient 6 poisons of the demon realm. However, when I use it now, it's enough to easily kill dozens of human tower masters. I know tens of thousands of such demonic techniques, as well as many forbidden techniques. I'm already invincible in the human realm. Xiaofan sighed emotionally. All the demonic arts and demonic arts that surged into Xiaohan's sea of consciousness had been integrated by him. I'm about to come out of seclusion. Xiaofan smiled faintly. Just a little bit more. The demonic god's palm on my left arm will absorb all the energy fragments. At that time, I'll come out of seclusion and return to the Pure Cloud Sect, the Pure Cloud Mountain Range. The Pure Cloud Sect. At this time, Jing Yanxue, Lan Shirong, and Princess Mo Hen were leading a large group of Medicine King Valley disciples to do odd jobs behind Yen Lang. They packed up bags of herbs and placed freshly made pills into medicine bottles. Sect leader Wu, the cure for this plains plague is in these pills. Yen Lang twisted his beard and smiled. His face was slightly tired, but his eyes were extremely excited. Master Yen Lang's divine skill in refining medicine, I admire you, sect leader Wu said sincerely. I thank Master Yen Lang on behalf of all the people in the world. These days, Master Yen Lang has not slept or rested. He has done his best. It is truly admirable. This merit alone is enough to make up for the mistake of judging the demon hero pagoda. Ha 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 ha, sect leader Wu is too polite. In fact, the reason why the calamity of the world could be successfully resolved was because of my master Xiaofan. He killed the demon emperor that spread the plague, causing the plague to weaken by a lot, giving me time to refine the antidote. At this time, Jing Yanxue said in a low voice. Sect Master Wu, did my man really single-handedly kill countless great demons from other planes? Yes, Sect leader Wu said seriously. If not for Xiaofan, this plane would have been destroyed long ago, and all the human race would have perished. Xiaofan saved this plane with his own strength. Hearing sect leader Wu personally confirm it, the 3 girls were overjoyed. They were overjoyed and their eyes were filled with happiness. When will he come back? After surviving the disaster, the 3 girls missed Xiaofan very much. They could not wait to see Xiaofan immediately, throw themselves into his arms, and act like a spoiled child. Xiaofan is in seclusion, comprehending demonic techniques. I do not know when he will come out. Sect leader Wu suddenly smiled. However, all of you don't have to worry. After your man emerges from his closed-door cultivation, he'll become a peerless hero that's completely invincible in the mortal world. Unless he is an immortal, no one can defeat him. It's a pity that I can't witness junior brother Xiaohan's peerless style of killing hundreds of powerful demon emperors with one punch. What a pity. Xiao Mingchu stood at the edge of the cliff, sighing and beating his chest. Fang Ling and Dongfang Qin laughed at the side. Eldest senior brother, look, the great rivers and mountains of our plain have once again recovered their vitality. Everywhere is vast and beautiful, and the common people live in peace and contentment. They sing and dance to celebrate peace, and it's a flourishing age. Fang Ling looked into the distance and spoke emotionally. All of this is thanks to junior brother Xiaohan. Dongfang Qin also sighed. Suddenly, Fang Ling changed the topic. However, although it looks like a painting, there are hidden dangers. Junior brother Fang Ling, you mean after a few years, immortals will come to our plane? Xiao Mingchu immediately frowned. Yes, during the adventure in the Genius Zone, junior brother Xiaofan has become the target of public criticism. Everyone knows that he has a purple immortal key, including the immortals. After a few years, there will be many powerful immortals who will come to our plane to look for Xiaofan. We can't understand the thoughts of these immortals. We don't know how they will treat us mortals. Once the immortals have a dispute with us, it will be 10 times or even 100 times more dangerous than those monster clan emperors. I hope that Xiaofan can make great progress in his seclusion this time. Devil Hero Region. Devil Hero Pagoda. Xiaohan's spiritual secret room. Boom. 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 Finally, the left arm of the demon monarch refined all the energy essence of the entire demon clan army. Not a single drop was left. Perfect. Xiaofan stood up directly. His body was tall, invincible, majestic, and imposing. I've awakened 80 million demonic veins, and the capacity of each demonic vein has expanded to 5,600 times that of an ordinary demonic emperor. This means that when I strike out with my left arm, I'll be able to unleash 40 trillion cauldrons of pure strength. Not bad, my combat strength has skyrocketed, and I've improved tremendously. At least the time I spent in seclusion to crazily refine the demonic race's energy was not wasted. After Xiaofan broke through 70 true acupoints and cleansed the true talismans 10 times, the true chi on a natal talisman was only about 20 trillion cauldrons. However, a wave of the demon monarch's palm now had 40 trillion cauldrons of mighty power. The power of the demon monarch's palm was twice as powerful as the natal talisman. Moreover, the demon monarch's palm was also modified by the will of the demon god, causing it to evolve and mutate. Dense reverse scales, bone spikes, and tentacles grew out. Every reverse scale, every bone spur, and every tentacle had a quality that was not inferior to an ordinary offensive immortal artifact. Xiaofan also mastered more than tens of thousands of demon techniques. Among them were some forbidden techniques that were powerful enough to destroy the world. At this moment, Xiaofan casually stood there, and his body was surrounded by demon wind, and his demon light shone brightly, illuminating the world. Every single one of his pores and cells exuded an aura and pressure similar to that of an ancient, terrifying giant. Unknowingly, Xiaohan's temperament became lawless, as if he was above the ages, suppressing the heavens. He had a domineering aura, as if he was the sole ruler of the heavens. Poof poof poof, the densely packed tentacles seemed to be extremely happy, swimming and growing on his left arm. The bone spikes were blood red, and the reverse scale was sharp. Xiaohan's entire left arm was ferocious and terrifying. You can emerge now. Xiaofan smiled in satisfaction. His left arm returned to normal. All of his true chi was boosted by the wondrous cultivation method of the spirit turtle's true chi, covering his left arm. It did not leak out at all. Xiaofan directly came out of seclusion with his hands behind his back. Xiaofan walked out of the mind's secret room. He teleported out of the Demon Hero Pagoda. In the square outside the Demon Hero Pagoda. Xiaofan collar chalk sleeve. Xiaofan collar chalk sleeve. Xiaofan collar chalk sleeve. Countless demon heroes knelt down on one knee to Xiaofan. Xiaofan collar chalk sleeve, you've come out of seclusion. A few elders also flew out of the Demon Hero Pagoda and knelt in front of Xiaofan respectfully. There's no need for that, Xiaofan said with a faint smile. I have no intention of being the master of this plane. I just don't want to be tied down by the mortal world. With my temperament, I'm not suited to make this collar and sleeve. You can choose one of the 12 elders to be the leader of the chalk sleeves. Xiaofan collar chalk sleeve. You don't want to be chalk sleeve. You. The elders and the demon heroes all panicked. Don't worry. If the plane encounters any danger, I, Xiaofan, will do my best to save it no matter where I am. I'll leave now. You guys can rebuild the plane properly. Xiaofan's figure had already drifted far away after he finished speaking. He was nowhere to be found. Xiaofan's words came in the wind. In a few years, the Immortals will come to our plane. I will also return to the sect in advance to make preparations. To be continued. Chapter 553. After Xiaofan finished the mutation of the Demon Emperor's left arm, he returned to the pure mountain range without stopping. He didn't stay in the Wuxia region for long. After experiencing such a huge change, Xiaofan's heart was a little touched. Now, he was eager to return home. He wanted to reunite with his wives and tell them about their parting, so that they could have a good time together. Whoosh! A gorgeous demonic light flashed across the sky, leaving a beautiful arc in the air. In less than a breath, Xiaofan accurately used illusory movement and flashed from the Wuxia region to the pure mountain range, his true inheritance mountain peak. With Xiaofan's demon power, the effect of using illusory movement was almost the same as teleportation. If Xiaofan used his full strength, he could flash from the extreme west to the extreme east in less than a breath. On the true inheritance mountain peak of Xiaofan, the medicine field was crisscrossed with a strange fragrance, colorful butterflies fluttered, and bees danced. Many beautiful maidservants were working in the medicine field with tools such as medicine hoes in their hands. Sometimes, they would stop and chat with laughter. Sometimes, they would talk about some intimate things. Among them, several of Princess Mo Hen's personal maids were gathered together, whispering and chatting with a smile. Mo Zhu, do you think the son-in-law will visit us in the future? After all, we have been with the princess since we were young. Our royal family also has a rule. When the princess gets married, we, as maidservants, will also marry. We hope that the son-in-law will visit us one day. I will also marry him. I hope that young master will one day come to visit us. Even if it's just once, my life will not be in vain. TSK. What status do we have? How can we expect the son-in-law to visit us? The son-in-law is now the leader of this plane, and he will become an immortal in the future. Alas! How can we be worthy of the son-in-law? Ha ha ha, you girls, do you want to seduce the son-in-law? Outside the huts on the other side of the medicine field, Jing Yanxue, Lan Shirong, and Princess Mo Hen were holding medical books and reading. At this moment, the space in front of them fluctuated, and Xiaofan was already standing in front of them with a smile. Ah! The three women were so shocked that they dropped the medical books in their hands onto the ground. Then, their beautiful eyes widened as they stared straight at Xiaofan. There were thousands of words in their hearts, but they couldn't say a single word. 3 wives, I'm back. He, Xiaofan smiled and then opened his arms. Come, give me one each. For a moment, the 3 women forgot themselves. Their passionate tears silently rolled down their cheeks. However, they didn't care about it and directly threw themselves into Xiaofan's embrace. It was as if they couldn't wait for Xiaofan to melt them. They didn't hesitate at all. The Great Hall of Ascension. There's a faint demonic aura descending upon our sect. Xiaofan has returned. Wu Yu exclaimed. Xiaofan's true inheritance mountain peak. At this moment, Wu Hao, Xiao Mingchu, Fang Ling, Dongfang Qin, Yan Lang, as well as Ah Chou and the rest who had just returned from their training outside, a dense group of true disciples surrounded Xiaofan like stars surrounding the moon. Cheers and laughter. Everyone talked to their heart's content. Brother. This is a lady that I got to know during my training. She has already become my wife. He. Ah Cho was extremely bashful as he introduced a beautiful and delicate female of the true Qi realm to Xiaofan. Ha ha ha. Senior Ah Cho, you have a good eye. Xiaofan patted Ah Cho's shoulder with great force. A strong friendship spread in all directions. However, you have to work harder. Look at me, I have 3 wives, and you only have 1. Ha ha ha. At this moment, Dongfang Qin scuttled over from the side and pulled Xiaohan's sleeve. He smiled wretchedly and said in a low voice. Junior brother, it's not just 3, it's 4, huh? Xiaohan was startled. Look. Dongfang Qin pointed. Under a hawthorn tree at the edge of the cliff, there was a lady with smooth skin and her entire body was bathed in a graceful and luxurious true qi. Her beauty was unparalleled. She smiled charmingly at Xiaohan and gently stroked her hair. Who else could it be other than Mo Qingtong? In an instant, various scenes of him and Mo Qingtong in the hex trial flashed in Xiaohan's mind. Xiaohan looked at Mo Qingtong and could not help but be a little dazed. Pfft! Mo Qingtong laughed involuntarily and then gracefully walked towards Xiaohan. We, the people of the Jianghu, don't bother about trifles. Mo Qingtong directly held Xiaohan's arm as if she was afraid that Xiaohan would run away. 3 sisters, in the future, I will be the eldest and you will be the youngest. If anyone bullies you, just say my name. Xiaohan, do you have any objections? Huh? Xiaohan was dumbfounded. What? Xiaohan, at that time, you and I. Now you want to go back on your words? Didn't we agree to be each other's angels? We swore to the stars and moon. Mo Qingtong looked at Xiaohan with grievance. The happiness that I, Mo Qingtong, want must be firmly grasped. Xiaohan, don't even think of escaping in this life. In the distance. Heaven's devil old man's eyes were filled with tears. Brother Wu, my most beloved disciple has been given to your Xiaohan. Sigh. In the future, your Pure Rain sect must treat Qingtong well. This child has been lonely and pitiful since childhood. She is a poor person. Heavenly devil old man, why do I feel that it is Qingtong who wants to forcibly occupy my Xiaohan? Wu Yu was speechless. Night. The sky was full of stars. On the true inheritance mountain peak of Xiaohan, piles of bonfires were lit. Many beautiful female disciples danced cheerfully and enthusiastically in front of the bonfires. Delicacies and good wine were endless. The Pure Rain sect was celebrating. Many disciples drank themselves to the point of being dead drunk. Xiaohan, you must have gained a lot from your seclusion this time, right? Wu Yu said with a smile. Xiaohan also smiled. I guess I can't find an opponent in the ordinary world. However, I don't know if I can protect myself when the Immortals descend in a few years. Yes, Wu Yu nodded. Xiaohan, there are at least a few years before the Immortals descend. What have you done in these few years? Now, almost all the demon clan in our plane has been annihilated, and it has become a paradise for the human clan. This disciple's cultivation would never be able to progress in this plane, or even in the countless ordinary planes of the mortal world. In these few years, I want to have a good tour. Relax my mind. Spend some time with Yanxue and the others. Xiaohan looked at his wives. Yes, now, in these few days, we, the demon heroes, have been going everywhere to kill the remnants of the demon clan, and almost all the demon clan in this plane have been killed. The plane is peaceful. Xiaohan, you should rest well. Wu Yu drank a mouthful of wine, his eyes deep in thought. When I was a child, I saw my uncle's family have their brains sucked dry by the demon clan, and they died tragically in the manner. At that time, I made a vow that in this life, I must do my best to exterminate the demon clan. After so many years, although this vow was not fulfilled by me, but, in any case, it was the disciples of my Pure Rain sect who accomplished this great cause. With that, Wu poured a cup of wine and silently prayed. All the demon hero brothers who sacrificed themselves, Wu offers you a cup. I hope that you will know in the afterlife that the plane is peaceful today. Late at night. Xiaofan, Mo Qingtong, Princess Mo Hen, Jing Yanxue, and Lan Shirong were in the same room. Xiaofan had been holding it in for a long time. At this time, he was very impatient. Unable to control himself, he directly tore Jing Yanxue, Lan Shirong, and Princess Mo Hen's light robes. Mo Qingtong watched from the side, her face red and her breathing rapid. Although she did not bother with trifles, she was still a virgin and had not been inhumane. Xiaofan might as well go all the way. He also pulled Mo Qingtong over and stripped her in 2 or 3 moves. This night, they were entangled to death. The 4 women did their best to please him. In the following period of time, Xiaofan lived a peaceful and secluded life in the untainted mountain range. Fishing, admiring flowers, playing in the water, taking beauties on an outing, carefree and leisurely, Xiaofan lived a contented life that only admired mandarin ducks and not immortals. Although the creatures of the plain all knew that Xiaofan had already returned to the untainted mountain range. But no one dared to disturb him. However, in the mundane plains, many temples were built to worship Xiaofan. The incense was endless, and it was extremely prosperous. Occasionally, Xiaofan would also sit on a boulder at the highest peak of the untainted mountain range. His gaze would look into the distance, and his spiritual fluctuations would also spread out wantonly. Now, Xiaofan's spiritual fluctuations were unreasonably strong, and it was not a problem for him to cover the entire plain. It's been so many years, Yunrong, where exactly are you? Xiaofan's eyes revealed a strong longing. Yunrong, in order to save me, you did not hesitate to harm yourself and took a highly toxic medicine. According to the calculation of time, the period of time since the poison took effect has long passed. Could it be that Yunrong, in the depths of Xiaofan's eye sockets, there was a trace of worry, but more than that, there was doubt. Xiaofan muttered to himself, no. With my current spiritual strength, in the secular world, I am invincible. Even some low-level immortals, in terms of pure spiritual strength, I am afraid that they are no match for me. When spiritual strength is strong to a certain level, there will be a kind of faint sixth sense. Now, I have a premonition. Yunrong, it seems that she did not die from the poison. And, in such a large plain, there is not a trace of Yunrong's aura left. Could it be that Yunrong is no longer in this plain? Xiaofan used his spiritual fluctuations to cover the entire plain and searched carefully, but actually did not find a trace of Xiao Yunrong's aura. After all, Xiaofan and Xiao Yunrong had spent a lot of time together. Before the two of them parted, Xiao Yunrong had even secretly kissed Xiaofan. It could be said to be unforgettable. Therefore, Xiaofan was absolutely not unfamiliar with Xiao Yunrong's aura. Even if Xiao Yunrong had passed away, her aura should have lingered for a long time before dissipating completely. But in this plain, Xiaofan did not find any trace of Xiao Yunrong's aura. Moreover, the mysterious sixth sense seemed to be telling Xiaofan that Xiao Yunrong had long since left this plain. Forget it, I am already powerless to find Yunrong in this plain. I hope Yunrong is still alive. In the future, when my cultivation base is strong again, I will definitely go to other planes to find Yunrong. In this life, I must find Yunrong. Chapter 554. 3 years. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. 3 years had passed in the blink of an eye. 3 years had passed since Xiaofan returned to the Purity Mountain Range from the Devil Hero region and lived a happy and contented life. In these 3 years, Xiaofan had enjoyed all the blessings in the world. In addition to bringing his wives on a leisurely tour of the ethereal mountain range, Xiaofan and his wives also disguised themselves and went to various places in the 4 regions and the great wilderness to experience the local customs. Their footprints were all over the plain. In these 3 years, there were no disasters in the plain. The country was prosperous and the people lived in peace. It seemed that the luck of the plain was prosperous. The development of the plain was flourishing, becoming more and more exuberant. It was like a drop of water falling into a pot of oil, sizzling and boiling. Moreover, with the help of other high-level plains, Xiaofan's plain was now filled with dazzling buildings. Many important cities had roads paved with gold bricks and horses made of white jade. Flowers were everywhere. In just a short span of 3 years, the plain's development had improved many times compared to before. Moreover, Yan Lang finally broke down and refined the immortal elixir that Xiaofan brought back from the genius zone into countless divine medicines. This was even more amazing. Yan Lang was indeed a genius, a god-level alchemist. He broke down and refined the immortal elixir that was not suitable for mortals into divine medicines that were most suitable for mortals. Although this kind of divine medicine had different attributes, it could be effectively absorbed by mortals, breaking the shackles of life and improving the level of life. So that when mortals cultivated true qi, they would be irresistible and no longer have any bottlenecks. Countless divine medicines were distributed like flowing water. First of all, the disciples of the Pure Cloud sect, according to their seniority, received different amounts of divine medicine. Then, in the hero region, the talented and righteous heroes also received divine medicine. Finally, in the secular sects and empires, some of the selected martial artists also received divine medicine. The 4th year. Wu Fu finally broke through and advanced to the 10th level of true qi. He opened 101 acupoints in his body, opened the heavenly eye, and cultivated into a half-immortal body. In addition, the faint immortal aura in the divine medicine nourished his body, making his half-immortal body extremely strong, flowing with a sage-like aura. Xiao Mingchu opened the heavenly eye, half-immortal body. Dongfang Qin opened the heavenly eye, half-immortal body. Fang Ling opened his heavenly eye, half-immortal body. Yan Lang and Imo Qingtong opened their heavenly eyes and became half-immortals. Ah Cho, True Qi Level 9 True Treasure Realm. Princess Mo Hen, Jing Yanxue, and Lan Shirong had all reached Level 9 True Treasure. Apart from these people, all of the true disciples of the Pure Rain sect had reached Level 10 True Qi. Xiao Chen had opened all 100 true acupoints. However, he had yet to open the 101st true acupoint to open the heavenly eye and condense the half-immortal body. The inner sect disciples, outer sect disciples, and inner sect disciples of the Pure Rain sect had all entered the true qi realm. Even those disciples who had poor aptitude and could only remain at the fleshly body realm for the rest of their lives, after obtaining 1 or 2 godly medicines, would break through the limits of their genes and step into the ranks of Level 1 or Level 2 Jinqi realm, soaring to the heavens in one go. Right now, the massive Pure Rain sect had hundreds of thousands of disciples and all of them were at the true qi realm. Not a single one of them was at the physical body realm. The lineup was so strong that it left one dumbfounded. Even the founder of the Pure Cloud sect, Wu Hongyi, had never dreamed that the Pure Cloud sect would be as prosperous as it was today. Back to the Wuxia region. The changes in the Devil Hero region were even more shocking. Apart from Yan Qi who had already disappeared, the 12 elders and the surviving ancient giants had all opened 101 true acupoints, opened the heavenly eye, and condensed the half-immortal body. Apart from them, all the ancient giants and some devil heroes whose strength was close to the ancient giants had also cultivated to the peak of level 10 true qi, opened the heavenly eye, and condensed the half-immortal body. In just a few years, this plane had given birth to thousands of half-immortals. In other words, this plane had thousands of pagoda masters. A plane with thousands of pagoda masters was already the symbol of a high-level plane. Xiaofan's plane had originally been extremely weak. After countless years, only one pagoda master had been born. When he went outside, he was bullied and oppressed everywhere. But now, there were thousands of pagoda masters, and a large portion of them could completely defeat the previous pagoda masters. As a result, the plane had gone from weak to strong, completing a complete transformation. Moreover, the current Xiaofan's plane was filled with auspicious clouds and auspicious qi, immortal qi, and true qi. The entire plane showed a jade-like luster, with traces of heaven on earth. In this plane, the quality of the fruits and rice grown were extremely high, close to the immortal fruit. Immortal rice nourished mortals, making them stronger and prolonging their lives. Now, this plane would definitely be ranked among the top of the ordinary planes in the entire universe. In addition, this plane had Xiaofan, so it was almost impossible for any other ordinary plane to surpass this plane. Invincible in the plane. *** mountain range. *** sect. Xiaofan's true inheritance mountain peak. At this time, in Xiaofan's true inheritance mountain peak, a large group of people gathered outside Xiaofan's living room. Xiaofan paced back and forth outside the house, anxious and battered. Wu Yu, Heavenly Devil Old Man, Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, Shengguan Wudi, and the others were also accompanying Xiaofan. Xiaofan, don't worry, Qingtong will definitely give birth smoothly. Wu Yu kept saying. Calm down, at this moment, Mo Qingtong's loud cry sounded in the house, Xiaofan. I don't want to give birth. It hurts. Ah. Xiaofan stomped his feet heavily. Qingtong, you must hold on. It turned out that today was the day of Mo Qingtong's labor. In the past few years, Xiaofan and his wives had always been more careful, taking various measures to prevent his wives from becoming pregnant with his own flesh and blood. After all, there were only a few years before the opening of the second stage of Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure. At that time, Xiaofan would enter and compete with many immortals. Besides, there had always been a hidden danger in Xiaofan's heart. As long as the demon god's soul was not eliminated, Xiaofan would not be able to live in peace. How could he dare to be a burden? However, even so, Mo Qingtong was still pregnant. Master, please be at ease, this old servant personally refined the abortion medicine for mistress, nothing can go wrong. Yan Lang also said nervously. Moreover, this old servant has taken mistress' pulse, it's a young master, ah. In the house, Mo Qingtong suddenly let out a long cry. Then, wah wah wah, a child's loud cry rang out. Suddenly, outside the house, it was quiet. Xiaofan, Wu Li, the Heavenly Devil Old Man, Xiao Mingchu, and all the other true disciples of the Cloud sect were all silent. Xiao. 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 Then, rays of holy light shot up from the house, filling the sky with auspicious clouds, immortal cranes, immortal apes, and all kinds of strange phenomena. It was a spectacular sight. A strange phenomenon from the heavens. This child's talent is extraordinary. Wu Li said excitedly, trembling. Boy or girl? Xiaofan roared. Congratulations, young hero Xiaofan, Lady Qingtong has given birth to a young master for you, an old woman's excited voice rang out in the house. Jing Yanxue, Princess Mo Hen, and Lan Shirong rushed out of the house, their faces full of excitement and tears. Ha ha ha. I'm also a father. Xiaofan couldn't help but cry. That night, Xiaofan was holding a cute baby boy with crystal clear skin, a faint holy light lingering in his pores, and big black eyes that kept rolling. Junior brother Xiaofan, your son is 80% like you, and 20% like Qingtong. Xiao Mingchu said anxiously. Come, junior brother, give me a hug. Eldest senior brother, it's not your turn yet, right? Dongfang Qin took the baby boy from Xiaofan's arms and teased him with a smile on his face. Xiaofan, this child has inherited your invincible talent and genes, he will definitely become a great person in the future. Give him a name. Wu Li looked at the baby boy in Dongfang Qin's arms with a loving expression. Xiaofan thought for a moment, then said. Although the plane seems to be peaceful, there are undercurrents surging. Based on the time, the immortals will descend to our plane soon. I only hope that my son can live a peaceful and happy life. Let's call him Xiaoan. Wu Li nodded, good name. As a father for the first time, Xiaofan also began a busy and happy life, raising Xiaoan with his 4 wives. Moreover, Xiaoan became the darling of the Pure Cloud sect when he was born. Hundreds of thousands of disciples in the Pure Cloud sect all regarded Xiaoan as their treasure. Yan Lang even specially refined some top-grade sacred medicine and medicinal baths for Xiaoan to take and bathe in every day. Xiaoan grew up in such an environment and inherited Xiaohan's excellent genes. He would definitely become a great person in the future. In the future, he would definitely be a legend. One night, Xiaohan lay on the spacious soft couch, holding Xiaoan in his arms, playing with him. Princess Mo Hen was massaging Xiaohan's feet, Jing Yanxue was gently massaging Xiaohan's shoulders, and Lan Shirong was snuggling up to Xiaohan's body. At this time, Xiaohan handed Xiaoan to Mo Qingtong to breastfeed. Mo Qingtong carried Xiaoan over and suddenly said softly, Xiaohan, why are you always depressed recently? Did we make you unhappy? Xiaohan looked at Mo Qingtong. At this time, Mo Qingtong had a faint red mark between her eyebrows. Although she had given birth, her charm was even better than before. She had the charm of a young woman, and her tower master-level cultivation made her a goddess in the eyes of any man. Xiaohan's heart surged with a tender affection, and he shook his head slightly. It's not because of you, but the day of the immortal's arrival is getting closer and closer. Since I have Xiaoan, I naturally have more and more concerns. Xiaohan, are you worried that the immortals will make things difficult for our son? Humph. If anyone dares to touch my Xiaoan, even if it's an immortal, I won't be afraid. Mo Qingtong said coldly with a sense of protectiveness. Of course, if the immortals dare to touch our family, I will kill them. Xiaohan said sternly. Night. The night sky was clear. It was like the most beautiful gem in the world, spotless and breathtakingly beautiful. The East region's most prosperous empire. Sunyao Empire. Sunyao Empire's imperial city. Imperial Palace. Imperial Garden. The Emperor of Sunyao Empire was in the Imperial Garden of the Imperial Palace, inviting his trusted officials to a banquet. They were enjoying the moon and discussing state affairs. Your Majesty, ever since Xiaohan and Cha Xiu led us to wipe out the demon clan in this plane, the air in our plane has become extremely pure and sweet. There's no longer the smell of the demon clan. It's a scene of prosperity. Yes, that battle back then was truly an unprecedented battle. Xiaohan killed the entire demon clan army by himself. The immortals descended to earth. Even the immortals in heaven are no better than this. The Emperor of Sunyao Empire also nodded repeatedly. At this moment. Boom! 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 The originally clear night sky was suddenly filled with thunder and lightning without any warning. Then, a violent gale and heavy rain descended. Boom! A colorful vortex bloomed directly over the imperial city of the Sun Glory Empire. And then, whoosh! A meteor flashed by. However, the thunder, the storm, the five-colored vortex, and the meteor all flashed by within a few breaths. After a few breaths, the thunder stopped abruptly, the wind dispersed, and the rain disappeared. The night sky returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. My dear officials, what's going on? The Emperor stood up in horror and scanned the surroundings with his true qi, but found nothing unusual. It's strange. The thunder and the storm came quickly and left even faster. Your Majesty, it seems that a meteor fell into our imperial city. A graceful young woman smiled gently. Ha ha ha. Your Majesty, I'm afraid you saw wrong. How could there be a meteor in the storm? The officials all laughed in a relaxed manner. Sunyao Empire's Imperial City. A young man in white walked on a street of the Imperial City with his hands clasped behind his back. He seemed to be very curious about the Imperial City and looked around. His eyes were like gems, starry sky, and moonlit night. This is the plane of mortals? Although the air doesn't have the charm of immortals, this plane is quite prosperous. It should be right. This is the coordinates of this space. It can't be wrong. Ha ha ha. Yu Yangzi, have finally reached the mortal world and walked around. Right, I'm looking for a mortal called Xiaofan. He has many places to enter the second floor of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. Chapter 555. The young man in white seemed to be interested in everything that happened in the imperial city of the Sun Glorious Empire. He ran to the bustling night market and looked around. Then, he saw a stall selling candied haws. His eyes lit up, and he rushed over. The young man in white grabbed a candied haw and sniffed it. Then, he put it in his mouth. After chewing for a while, he praised the stall and turned to leave. "Sir, you haven't paid the bill yet," the young woman said anxiously. The young man in white paused, scratched his ears, and said in a low voice. "That's right, the elders in the sect told me some things about the mundane world. It seems like we have to use currency to buy things like clothing, food, housing, and transportation. It's not like the immortal world where we trade for things. However, I don't have the currency of the mundane world." With that said, the young man in white took off a jade pendant from his waist and handed it to the young woman who was selling candied fruits. He chuckled. "I won't take advantage of you. Here, this is a jade pendant carved from top-grade warm jade from the celestial realm. It's enough to buy a lot of candied haws." Celestial realm warm jade? The young woman took the jade pendant with a puzzled expression. "Well, this Celestial realm is the name of my hometown. It's just a small town, not as prosperous as here." The young man quickly changed his words and turned to leave. This jade is so exquisite." The young woman was stunned as she held the jade pendant in her hand. The white-clothed young man wandered in the luxurious night of the glorious Sun Empire, enjoying the moving and graceful scenery to his heart's content. This time, our sect master and the elders worked hard to open the space-time channel between the celestial realm and the mortal world, allowing me to teleport down. However, because the spatial barrier of the mortal realm is too weak and unstable, senior brothers and sisters with stronger celestial physiques and celestial force are unable to teleport down. Otherwise, the aura on their bodies would be enough to shatter this mortal realm. As for me, with my celestial physique and celestial force, I can just barely descend to the mortal realm. I'm one of the most talented disciples among the younger generation in the Flying Yang sect. Many elders encouraged me and thought that I might be able to condense a high-grade immortal physique in the future, or even become an immortal emperor. But I'm still far from that. But I won't disappoint the elders and the sect master. This time, exploring the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure is a great opportunity for me. Yu Yangzi, will definitely not lose to the young talents of the other sects in the immortal world. So, this white-robed youth was actually someone who had descended from the immortal world. It was a young immortal. Finally. An immortal had finally descended from Xiaofan's plane. Yes. Our Flying Yang sect managed to obtain a spot with great difficulty. Yu Yangzi, was fortunate enough to be chosen by the sect leader and the various elders. Sect leader and elder Chalk had expended so much celestial force to open this spacetime wormhole and allow me to descend. I carry the hope of the entire Fei Yang sect. This time, the outstanding young immortals of the various sects in the immortal world have all descended. The competition is very fierce. Who doesn't want to obtain Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure? My Fei Yang sect isn't much of a force in the celestial realm. We've only obtained one spot, and it was obtained with great difficulty by Elder Chalk's connections. However, it's said that this spot is slightly better than the other spots. I heard that there's a mortal in this realm called Xiaofan, and the celestial key he obtained is the most valuable celestial key, the purple celestial key. I wonder if this purple celestial key will give me an advantage when I search for treasures. Forget it, I must bring back the celestial treasure for the sect. I want to revitalize the sect. Yu Yangzi, must also take this opportunity to embark on the path of an immortal emperor. Yes, I've just arrived. Wait until I'm familiar with the rules of this plane, then I'll find that mortal Xiaohan and ask for a spot to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. The white-robed young immortal disappeared into the night sky. Late at night. Deep in the wasteland. Deep in the wasteland that was as silent as a graveyard. This was a continuous mountain range. There were no human countries, and there were many ancient beasts in the mountains. Occasionally, there would be a sound of trampling on the ground, or a violent roar. It was a ghastly sight to behold. At this moment. Boom rumble. 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 Heaven and earth suddenly began to shake violently. A terrifying energy descended from the sky. This was a light beam that was like a raging wave. It fell straight down from the sky, like an aurora. The vibration of the space shattered the trees and mountains within 1,000 miles. All the beasts in the mountains were annihilated. The air even turned into a rapid sound wave attack. Sonic booms came from all directions, cutting the space into pieces. In the middle of the sky, a funnel-shaped vortex appeared. A stalwart figure slowly walked out from within. Ha 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 ha, I've finally reached the mortal world. Ha ha ha. This is really interesting. Sigh. It's really troublesome in the immortal world. No matter what I do, I'm bound by rules and regulations. Those old antiques always talk about immortal rules. I'll be punished at every turn. Damn it, so boring. Now that I've finally obtained a quota to descend to the mortal world, I must have some fun. Ahahaha. Anyway, there are still a few years before the date of entering the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove. I can have some fun in this mortal world for a few years. How can I have fun? Hahaha. The beauties of the mortal world. Wealth. Yes, and power. Hahaha. As for that, Xiaohan, I'll find some time to meet him. This time, I'll obtain the quota to enter the second round of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove from him. However, don't expect me to be polite to him. Mortals are like dogs. If he doesn't serve me obediently, I'll definitely crush his balls. Ahahaha. As he spoke, a giant man with golden skin and immortal light all over his body walked out. His body moved and swept across all directions. On this night, countless people in Xiaohan's plain, whether it was in the east, south, west, or north regions, or in the great wilderness, witnessed the strange phenomenon of meteors falling from the sky. Some people wanted to capture this phenomenon, but there was no trace of it. Of course, many people regarded this meteor phenomenon as a purely natural phenomenon and didn't care about it. However, Devil Hero region. 12 elders floated around the Devil Hero pagoda. In between their eyebrows, the heavenly eye opened, and a beam of light shone in all directions. Coincidentally, meteors fell from the sky not far away. Wang wang wang, the heavenly eye of the 12 elders released misty light at the same time and shone on the meteors. In the next moment. Pooh! 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 The 12 elders vomited blood at the same time. The light in the heavenly eye dimmed down, and even the heavenly eye closed slightly. It's immortal chi. Extremely violent and strong immortal chi. In that meteor, there was pure immortal chi. Just now, when we used the heavenly eye to probe, we suffered a backlash. One of the elders said in horror. The other elder, Elder Chalk, gasped. Did people from the immortal world descend upon our plane? Calculating the time, there is still about 56 years before the opening of the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. It seems that it is indeed the time for the immortals to descend. Hiss. Countless meteors fell tonight. If each meteor represented the arrival of an immortal, then the number of immortals that descended to our plane should be extremely large. Oh no! Oh no! With the descent of an immortal, it is hard to predict whether it will be a blessing or a curse. Immediately inform Xiaofan Ling Cha Xiu. Inform Xiaofan Ling Cha Xiu immediately. This is no small matter. Starry Night Transmission. Purity Mountain Range. Purity Sect. Xiaofan had just finished making love with his wives and was lying on the bed. At this moment, Xiaofan's mind swept slightly. There is actually the smell of immortal chi near my purity sect. It is extremely strong and pure. Could it be? Xiaofan suddenly jumped up from the bed. Purity Mountain Range, the main peak. Led by Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, Fang Ling, and other core disciples gathered at the main peak. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, meteors fell from the sky. Auspicious clouds rolled. Sect Master, I'm afraid these meteors aren't that simple. Xiao Mingchu's heavenly eye opened, and he frowned. If it is a blessing, it is not a curse. If it is a curse, it cannot be avoided. It seems that the thing that I have been worried about all these years has finally come. Wu Yu's pupils contracted slightly. At this moment, the yen chivalrous token in his arms trembled slightly. He took it out and scanned it with his mind. Then, he said. The elders sent a message. They have already speculated that the immortals have descended. It coincides with our sect. It should be the immortals. Xiaohan's voice rang in the main peak. Under the moonlight, Xiaohan, dressed in plain clothes, approached from afar. Junior brother Xiaohan. Xiao Mingchu and the others looked over. I have already used my mind to scan the entire plane. Now, there is real, immortal chi in the east, south, west, north, and great wilderness. It is extremely pure immortal chi. It is completely different from the immortal chi that drifts in our plane. I think that from tonight onwards, the immortals above will gradually descend to our plane. Xiaohan raised his eyes and looked at the sky. Not only our plane. Now, all the geniuses who participated in the Genius Zone adventure and obtained the quota to enter the second round of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure will definitely be visited by the immortals. The world is in chaos? The world is prosperous? Wu Yu was in a trance. It is really difficult for us mortals to understand the heart of the immortals. But there is no doubt that a new chapter has begun. Xiaohan, you have refined a purple immortal key and a blue immortal key. I believe that there will be immortals coming soon, it doesn't matter. I will deal with whatever comes my way. Even if the immortals come, I will deal with them one by one, Xiaohan said resolutely. To be continued. Chapter 556. That night. Xiaohan and the rest were not in the mood to sleep, so they simply stayed at the main peak of the mountain range. Stargazing. And Xiaohan, subconsciously, was also waiting for the immortals to come and find him. After all, Xiaohan had refined 2 immortal keys with him, and had a total of 270 places to enter the second round of the Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure. When an immortal descended to this plane, he would not look for anyone but Xiaohan. I wonder what the immortals are like. Xiaohan could not help but guess. Since I'm already here, let me, Xiaofan, see your true colors. So, Xiaofan waited for the immortals to visit in the mountain range. However, after waiting for 7 days and 7 nights, it was strange that no immortals came to find Xiaofan. This made Xiaofan extremely speechless. Western Region. In the 4 regions of the East, South, West, and North, the population was the most prosperous. There were as many sects in the empires and kingdoms. However, in comparison, the Eastern region was the most prosperous, followed by the Southern region, and the Northern and Western regions were more barren. Especially in the era when the demon race was rampant, the Northern and Western regions were sometimes tortured, and the people had no way to make a living. Although the plane had achieved the great unification of the human race, the Northern and Western regions had also been greatly improved. But some regions were still bitter cold. At this moment, in a border city of the Western region, people dressed in coarse hemp clothes were busy making a living. At the end of the streets, there were peddlers and servants. Let's go and find a living immortal to treat us. Since 7 days ago, the living immortal came to our Purple Vine city and opened a clinic that can treat all kinds of diseases. These few days, he has already cured many patients. You know Zhang Denyo, right? Tuberculosis that has accumulated for many years. He has already been cured by the living immortal. I don't have spare money to find a living immortal to treat me. You don't know this, right? The living immortal treats patients for free. Otherwise, how can he be called a living immortal? Let's go. In an ordinary house on a street in the city. At this moment, there was already a sea of people outside the house. There was a long queue, waiting for the living immortal to treat them. Inside the house, it was a green-robed youth. Her hair was tied up in a simple bun with a wooden hairpin. She had an oval face and a jade-like face. Stars and clouds flickered in her eyes. He was checking the pulse of a pregnant woman with a big belly. She's the daughter of a noble family. The young man in green smiled gently. Living immortal, please prescribe some medicine for me to take. The pregnant woman smiled sincerely. The green-clothed young man faintly smiled and extended his right index finger. He touched the space between the pregnant woman's eyebrows. Then he said, "That's enough. Next." Behind the azure-clothed youth was a young woman dressed in colorful clothes. She had a noble and otherworldly aura, and she called out impatiently. She waited for the pregnant woman to thank her and leave before she muttered her complaints. "Elder brother, why did you come here to treat these mortals?" The elders and the sect spent a lot of effort to open up a space-time wormhole so that we could descend into the mortal world. We should be looking for Xiaofan. What's so fun about this place? Junior sister. Mortals are really suffering. Suffering from all kinds of illnesses. So pitiful. The green-clothed young man reprimanded. Although mortals are not as good as us immortals, they are still living beings born from the world. This time, I descended into the mortal world to accumulate merit. It couldn't be better to treat these mortals. After accumulating a lot of merit, a few years later, when I enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, I will be able to gain something. Merit and karma circulate in the world. I'm doing good deeds now, but in the future. Stop. Senior brother, you still haven't changed your bad habit of nagging after coming to the mortal world. What kind of logic is this? Entering the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure and treating mortals here are two completely different things. The young woman in colorful clothes said with dissatisfaction. Aya, junior sister, don't make a fuss. There are still a few years before the second round of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure opens. Isn't it better to play in the mortal world for a few years? The green-clothed young man smiled. Suddenly, the young woman in colorful clothes frowned and said with a serious expression. Senior brother, you can play here, but I have to remind you that we, the White Dragon sect, are sworn enemies. The Dragon Sun sect also has outstanding young immortals who were teleported to this realm. I heard that its giant spirit and Xiong Mozi. Senior brother, we have to be careful. Don't let those two see us. Otherwise. Although we're in the mortal world, I'm afraid. Eastern Region. Dragon Scale Empire. Back mountain of the Imperial City. The volcano of the Imperial City was crowded with people. A magnificent temple had been built on the mountain. The incense was very abundant. Xiaofan's statue was enshrined in the temple, accepting the worship of the people in the world. At this moment, a green-clothed young man with a sword on his back stood in the middle of the temple. His eyes flashed with a sharp light as he looked at Xiaofan's statue. The corner of his mouth twitched, and his eyes emitted an extremely displeased expression. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Bang! In the next moment, his aura changed greatly. A sharp sword chi rose from his body and soared into the sky. His aura became unparalleled. Extraordinary and refined. At this moment, he was like a towering heavenly sword, making all the swords in the world submit to him. The worshippers who had been lighting incense in the temple were all sent flying by his aura. They were thrown into disarray one by one. How can mortals accept incense offerings? This is ridiculous. The mortals in the world are so ignorant and stupid. They don't worship immortals, but mortals. Xiaofan. What's that? How can he accept the offerings of mortals? Damn it. He's the number one genius in the genius zone, but he's still an ant in front of us immortals. I, the divine sword prince, must teach this Xiaofan a lesson. Bang! The formless sword chi sliced through the statue of Xiaofan in the temple, turning it into powder. Eastern Region. Maple Empire. Imperial City. A bare-chested man who looked like an ancient giant arrived at the Maple Empire's palace. There was a dragon-shaped aura surging from his body, and his aura was domineering. The aura of this bare-chested man. It suppressed the entire palace. Tens of thousands of people were silent. Ha 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 ha, this is the palace of the secular world? The bare-chested giant walked towards the throne in the golden palace. You are? You. The emperor and the ministers were so scared that their bodies were numb, and they were trembling like chickens. Oh, it's like this. I also want to be the emperor for a few years. You are the emperor of this country? Get out of here. I will replace your position and be the emperor for a few years. I want to experience the joy of power in the secular world. The bare-chested giant finally sat on the throne. Ha 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 ha. This seat is very fun. It's comfortable. It's really comfortable to sit on. No wonder countless mortals would fight with their lives for this seat. Even if they were as close as father and son, they would still kill each other. Ha ha ha. Listen, Oh, no. I'm giving the order now. Immediately spread the word across the country. Choose the most beautiful women. 5,000. No. Choose 10,000 beauties. Go now. Ha 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 ha. Countless immortals arrived at Xiaofan's plain. However, these immortals did not go to find Xiaofan as soon as they arrived. Instead, many immortals were playing in the secular world for fun. After all, life in the immortal world was too boring for them. Now that they finally arrived, they could play freely. Moreover, they had a sense of superiority. When they played, they were unscrupulous and did whatever they wanted. Some immortals occupied the throne of the secular world. Some immortals snatched women at will in the secular world for fun. Of course, there were also some immortals who were kind and did good deeds in the secular world. In short, the order of this plane had undergone a drastic change because of the arrival of a large number of immortals. *** Mountain Range. Sect. Xiaohan's True Inheritance Mountain Peak. Xiaoan. Huh. Xiaohan was holding his son and laughing. His wives were also laughing hysterically at the side. After playing for a while, Xiaohan handed Xiaoan to Mo Qingtong. Then, Xiaohan and Yan Lang walked to the other side of the mountain peak. Master, we've been waiting for many days, but the immortals still haven't come. The temperament of immortals is really hard to understand. Yan Lang said with some worry. It can't be that they think too highly of themselves and want Master to visit them personally, right? Xiaohan smiled slightly. In fact, although I'm a mortal and my life level is far inferior to immortals, but, the problem is, the quota to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure is firmly in my hands. Huh? Yan Lang was slightly stunned. A purple immortal key and a blue immortal key have been refined into my body and become a part of it. Immortals can't snatch them away. Once I die, these two immortal keys will also be annihilated. So, immortals can't kill me. Even if I let them kill me, they won't dare to. Xiaohan seemed to have figured out some key points. Yan Lang, you must know that it's not that easy for immortals to descend. They can't come down just because they want to. I think they need to spend an endless amount of immortal strength to forcefully open a space-time tunnel from the immortal world to our human world. The consumption is huge. With such a huge consumption, they can only teleport down. How can they easily waste this opportunity? If I die, they will be teleported down for nothing. It will be like drawing water with a wicker basket. Ah. That's right. Master. Speaking of which, you do have the upper hand. The quota to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure is in your hands. You can give it to whoever you want. The initiative is completely in your hands. Yan Lang's eyes also brightened. At this moment. He's here. Suddenly, Xiaohan's eyes lit up. After waiting for so many days, an immortal finally came to visit. At the foot of the mountain range. A man dressed in ordinary clothes and barefoot stood in front of the mountain gate of the mountain range. He wore an ordinary long robe. His appearance and temperament were like a scholar in the secular world. His body didn't show any auspicious aura or strange phenomenon. There was a kind of feeling of returning to simplicity. This mountain range is undulating and full of spiritual energy. It's really a place with great talents. No wonder it could nurture an outstanding talent like Xiaohan. The ordinary-looking man faintly smiled and said in a natural and unrestrained manner. To be continued. Chapter 557. This man stood at the foot of the Purity Mountain range, enjoying the beautiful scenery of the mountain and sighing with emotion from time to time. It was obvious that he held the Purity Mountain range in high esteem. At this time, a few disciples guarding the mountain noticed him and immediately flew in front of him. These disciples guarding the mountain were all at the first level of true qi. Ever since Yan Lang refined the divine medicine, all the disciples of the Purity sect had benefited and reached the true qi realm. Using a true qi realm disciple to guard the mountain gate was an extremely extravagant thing. In such a large plain, only the Purity sect could afford such a thing. When these disciples guarding the mountain saw this ordinary man, they immediately felt ashamed of their inferiority. Although this ordinary-looking man's body didn't seem to have any energy fluctuations, it was very strange that when these true Qi realm disciples faced him, it was as if they were commoners in the secular world, facing the emperor who sat high on the dragon throne in the throne room. Cramped. Bewildered. Flustered. May I ask who you are? The disciples guarding the mountain also changed their way of addressing the ordinary-looking man. Furthermore, all of them descended and stood in front of the ordinary-looking man in a well-behaved manner. It was as if they were giving him orders. Even the disciples guarding the mountain are at the true Qi realm? This sect is indeed very prosperous. The ordinary man muttered to himself. Then he smiled warmly. Everyone, no need to be so polite. I am Jia Lanzi, and I have come to pay a visit to the genius of your sect. Xiaofan. Ah. So you want to see our senior brother Xiaofan. The moment these few disciples who were guarding the mountain heard Jia Lanzi mention Xiaofan, they naturally felt confident. Their faces also radiated a proud glow. At this time, friend. A guest from afar. Please come to my purity sect's main peak for a chat. Xiaofan's voice came from afar, gentle and pleasant. Ha ha ha. Brother Xiao is indeed mysterious, to actually know of my arrival. Good, very good. Jia Lanzi's brows relaxed as he laughed heartily. Purity sect. Main peak. Back garden of the purity sect. Xiaofan, Wu Feng. Xiao Mingchu, Fang Ling, Dongfang Qin, and other leaders of the purity sect met Jia Lanzi in the back garden filled with flowers. They sat down. Xiaofan's gaze was unwavering as he looked at Jia Lanzi. He displayed an indifferent expression, neither servile nor overbearing. Even though Jia Lanzi was an immortal, he was still an immortal. Xiaofan's heart, on the other hand, was filled with the aura of ancient immortals. Moreover, this was not the first time Xiaofan had seen a real immortal. When Xiaofan left the demon capital, he was enlightened by a celestial. That celestial strength was probably far superior to Jia Lanzi's. As for Wu Hao, Xiao Mingchu, and the others, they were unable to maintain their composure. Immortal. Immortal. Your Excellency. Your Excellency is an immortal from the immortal world. Xiao Mingchu asked in shock. Ha ha ha, Jia Lanzi laughed unconcernedly. It's just a descendant from the immortal realm. In the mortal world, they were known as immortals, but in the immortal world, they were nobody. All living things are equal, so there's no need to be too restrained. Immortals are really powerful. Wu Li sighed. Rumors are not as good as seeing with one's own eyes. Mr. Jia Lanzi, you've already reached a state where you've returned to your natural state. But when I look into your eyes, I have an illusion. It's as if your eyes can absorb our entire plane. It's too mystical. Sect Master Wu doesn't have to be so polite. Jia Lanzi's temperament was also extremely easygoing. This time, there are many true immortals descending from the immortal world. This is no longer a secret. Then, I will have an open and honest talk with everyone. It can also be considered as making friends. Making friends with immortals? This. Dongfang Qin couldn't believe his ears. Xiaofan, my friend, I already know a lot about your deeds. He, with your age, it's really not a trivial matter to reach your current cultivation level. In the mortal world, it's unique, and no one can match you. Even in the immortal world, it will cause immortals to look at you. You obtained the first layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, and the title of the strongest in the genius area is well deserved. Today, I also found that there are traces of immortal qi in your body. It seems that you are already condensing immortal qi. Becoming an immortal is just around the corner, it's worth celebrating. Furthermore, when I heard about your battle with the demon race army, I couldn't help but gasp in amazement. Smashing several demon monarchs with one punch, this kind of method is almost an immortal's method. Powerful, powerful, admirable, admirable. Jia Lanzi, my friend, you are really kind. Xiaofan also smiled in a friendly manner. Xiaofan also knew that it was because of his combat strength and valor that he won some respect from this immortal in front of him. In addition, Xiaofan's heart and Zhuo Emperor's palm were also perfectly shielded. At least, this Jia Lanzi in front of him did not have any abnormalities. Fang Ling said, "We have always been worried that the people descending from the immortal world will be unruly and will not treat us mortals as humans. However, Sir Jialanzi, you are modest and polite. You are a sincere gentleman. There are good and evil people descending from the immortal world this time. I will tell you about these things. Jialanzi's face became slightly serious. I am willing to listen to Brother Jialanzi's teachings. Xiaofan said humbly. I dare not say that I will teach you. Friend Xiaofan is also a dragon among men. It is already a foregone conclusion that you will ascend and become an immortal one day. Friend Xiaofan and I can be considered to have hit it off at first sight. Then, let's just treat this as a casual chat between friends. Jialanzi's voice was extremely gentle and pleasant, making people feel as if they were bathing in a spring breeze. After a pause, Jialanzi said slowly. What is an immortal? Now, allow me to speak on your behalf. There were many versions of records about immortals and the immortal world in the ordinary mortal plane. Most of them were unverified and could not stand up to scrutiny. Now, a true immortal was speaking about these things, causing Xiaofan and the others to hold their breaths and listen attentively. Mortals want to become immortals. There are two ways. The most important one is through the cultivation of true qi. Reaching the 10th level of true qi, breaking through the 101 true acupoints of the body and opening the heaven's eye. After opening the heaven's eye, one can find some immortal qi floating in the lower realm and use it to wash the body, causing one's body to be slightly contaminated with immortal qi. After that, through enlightenment, one can welcome the heavenly tribulation. Once the heavenly tribulation comes, one needs to use one's mind, soul, body, true qi, and other means to resist it. Once one survives, one will be swept up by the heavenly tribulation and directly enter the immortal world. This is the so-called ascension. Of course, if one cannot withstand the heavenly tribulation, that is the end result of being reduced to ashes. After entering the immortal world, one can use true immortal qi and immortal pills to train their body and convert their true qi into immortal qi. That is when one becomes an official immortal. Convert true qi into immortal qi? Wuli nodded, not fully understanding. Brother Jialanzi, the power of immortal qi is many times greater than true qi, right? Of course. Jialanzi nodded with certainty. Not only is the power of immortal qi many times greater than true qi, but the body of an immortal is also many times stronger than that of a mortal. After all, it is a true immortal body. Even if a mortal explodes with the strongest true qi attack, it will not be able to shake the immortal body and break its defense. Therefore, in theory, a mortal can never kill an immortal. Mortals use cauldron as a unit of measurement. Jialanzi said seriously. And in our immortal world, we use dragon to describe immortal qi. Dragon is a noble creature that lives in the immortal world. Its power is enough to topple mountains and overturn the seas. In our immortal world, we use dragon to describe how much immortal qi an immortal has. Jialanzi's gaze swept across Xiaofan and the others. Let me give you an example. In the mortal world, the power of 10 trillion cauldrons is equivalent to the power of one dragon in the immortal world. Do you understand what I'm saying? 10 trillion cauldrons is equivalent to the power of one dragon in the immortal world? Xiao Mingchu and Dongfang Qin exclaimed. My destiny talisman has about 20 trillion cauldrons of power, which is equivalent to 2 dragons of immortal strength. And my left biscuit emperor's palm has about 40 trillion cauldrons of power, which is 4 dragons of immortal strength. Xiaofan calculated silently. Jialanzi continued. In the immortal world, ordinary immortals are called true immortals. Above true immortals are the noble, immortal emperors. True immortals are divided into 10 levels. Level 1 true immortals have 1 to 10 dragons of immortal strength. Generally speaking, level 1 true immortals have no status in the immortal world. They are similar to the common people in the mortal world. Level 2 true immortals have 11 to 20 dragons of immortal strength. This is similar to a local tyrant. It is equivalent to a local tyrant in the mortal world. In many immortal world sects, the younger generation of immortals are almost all level 2 true immortals. Level 3 true immortals have 21 to 30 dragons of immortal strength. In the immortal world sects, they are considered senior disciples. Level 4 true immortals have 31 to 40 dragons of immortal strength. They are the backbone of the immortal world sections. Level 5 true immortals have 41 to 50 dragons of immortal strength. They can be used to refine some simple immortal weapons. Level 6 true immortals. 51 to 60 dragons of immortal strength. They are basically the top disciples of the immortal world sections. Level 7 true immortals. 61 to 70 dragons of immortal strength. They are the elders and sect masters of the immortal world sections. They also have some important positions in the immortal world. Level 8 true immortals have 71 to 80 dragons of immortal strength. Level 9 true immortals have 81 to 90 dragons of immortal strength. Level 10 true immortals have 91 to 100 dragons of immortal strength. Above level 10 true immortals are immortal emperors. As for the power of immortal emperors, it is not convenient for me to describe it. Of course, the immortal strength I am referring to is pure immortal strength. If you use some immortal arts, the immortal strength will also be enhanced. It is the same principle as the true Qi cultivators in the mortal world who enhance their true Qi divine arts to increase the power of their attacks. This is only the immortal strength of an immortal. Of course, an immortal does not only have immortal strength. The immortal body is also a very important part of it. The immortal body is more mystical than a mortal body. One cell is a world, one drop of blood is an ocean. For ordinary immortals, the level of immortal strength is directly proportional to the immortal body. A level 1 true immortal with a level 1 immortal body must have 1 to 10 dragons of immortal strength to shake a level 1 immortal body. A level 2 true immortal with a level 2 immortal body must have 11 to 20 dragons of immortal strength to shake a level 1 immortal body. And so on. Of course, there are some immortals who purely cultivate their bodies. The power of an immortal body is extraordinary. At this point, Jia Lanzi looked at Xiaofan with a faint smile. Friend Xiaofan, if I am not wrong, you should be tempering your immortal body. Your body contains lightning and earth, two immortal body characteristics. It is difficult for a mortal's true Qi attack to break your defense. However, you only have a tiny embryonic form of these two immortal bodies. You have not been able to formally temper and forge them into real immortal bodies. However, in the mortal world, it is absolutely rare to be able to temper an embryonic form of an immortal body. The second way for mortals to become immortals is to condense an immortal body in the mortal world, and then forcibly penetrate the barrier between the mortal and immortal realms to enter the immortal world from the mortal world. However, this way of becoming an immortal is too heaven-defying. As far as I know, in the entire immortal world, all those who ascend from ordinary realms to become immortals rely on cultivating true Qi, opening the heavenly eye, and capturing immortal Qi. This causes their bodies, hair, and skin to have a little bit of immortal characteristics. Then, they rely on enlightenment to welcome the heavenly tribulation. Creating an immortal body purely with the physical body, going against the heavens to become an immortal. None. Absolutely none. This way of becoming an immortal only exists in legends. Because mortals cannot withstand such terrifying power. Even if one condenses a level 1 immortal body, it is equivalent to 1 to 10 dragons of immortal strength. This kind of power, directly added to the body of a mortal, would cause the body to explode. Moreover, a level 1 immortal body is not enough to forcibly penetrate the barrier between the mortal and immortal realms. I estimate that one would need at least a level 2 or 3 immortal body. In other words, to rely on tempering an immortal body and ascend to the immortal world, one's body needs at least 11 to 30 dragons of immortal strength, which is 110 trillion ding to 300 trillion ding of power. Xiaofan's scalp was also numb. The power of my body is only 5 trillion ding, which is less than 1 dragon of immortal strength. To be continued. Chapter 558. After listening to Jia Lanzi's explanation, Xiaofan finally had a better understanding of the difference between mortals and immortals. As for Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, and the rest, they were so shocked that their jaws dropped, unable to close. Indeed, the difference between mortals and immortals was like the difference between heaven and earth. The two could not be compared. Xiaofan, for example, cultivated his true energy in defiance of the heavens. He expanded his meridians 2,553 times and cleansed his natal talismans 117,000 times. Such a record was already the best in the Devata realms. In countless ordinary realms, there was no one who could surpass him. Because of this, Xiaofan's true energy power could almost instantly kill any pagoda lord of any plane in the universe. A natal talisman had a shocking power of 20 trillion cauldrons. 20 trillion cauldrons of true energy was the limit that mortals could achieve. It was the highest in history. However, 20 trillion cauldrons of true energy was only equivalent to 2 dragons of celestial strength. What did 2 dragons of celestial strength mean in the celestial world? It was a level 1 true immortal. Moreover, it was a cannon fodder among level 1 true immortals. In other words, mortals who stood at the top of the pyramid were the most ordinary peddlers in the celestial world. Any young disciple of a sect in the celestial world with the strength of a level 2 true immortal with 11 to 20 dragons of celestial strength could easily destroy anything in the mortal world. My previous thoughts were indeed naive. At this time, Xiaofan's mouth was filled with bitterness as he secretly complained in his heart. I thought that with the power of my true qi, I would be able to defeat him. I thought that with my true energy and demonic strength. Until now, I could at least protect myself against ordinary immortals. But now, it seems that I was too naive. I'm not even a match for an ordinary level 1 true immortal. Xiaofan, my friend, there's no need to be upset. Jia Lanzi noticed that Xiaofan's mood had changed. He immediately comforted him. Xiaofan, my friend, you're already invincible among mortals. In the future, when you ascend to the celestial world and become an immortal, there will definitely be many sects in the celestial world that will recruit you and nurture you carefully. Your development in the celestial world will be smooth sailing. In a short period of time, you might even become a level 2 true immortal or even a level 3 true immortal. Xiaofan. There's no way to compare them. Wu Li also spoke up. Xiaofan cleared his mind of distracting thoughts. He thought to himself. That's right, I'm just a mortal, there's no need to compare myself to immortals. Furthermore, my mental power is likely even stronger than that of a level 1 or 2 true immortal. Furthermore, as long as I cultivate to the point where I can open the gate of the Saber realm and receive the ancient Saber soul into my body, I will still be able to slay immortals. Let's get back to business, Jia Lanzi continued. Tell me about the immortals who descended upon this plane. Brother Jia Lan, speak. Xiaofan's mental power concentrated once again. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure is enough to cause an uproar even in our immortal world. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao was ranked 3rd in the immortal world. He was like a heavenly venerate. Moreover, his wealth was number 1 in the immortal world. In the immortal world, there was a saying that Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's wealth was equal to the sum of all the wealth in the immortal world. Although this statement is a little exaggerated, it's not far from it, Jia Lanzi said with a straight face. Ever since Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao disappeared from the immortal world, all of his treasures disappeared along with him. In our immortal world, countless young immortals like me have dreams of finding Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. That's because that treasure is enough for countless young immortals to fulfill their hot-blooded dreams, to become an immortal emperor. Countless sects in the immortal world also yearned for Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure to make their sects rise, to dominate the immortal world. When Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure appeared, the entire immortal world was in an uproar. It's completely boiling over. Countless sects and immortal emperors from all over the immortal world were all excited. However, when we found out that the first level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove, the Genius Zone, was only open for mortals, and immortals were not allowed to enter. At that time, countless immortals were so angry that they vomited blood. The entire immortal world was filled with wails and cries, and the cries of the cuckoos and blood apes could be heard. Countless immortals fainted. Fortunately, the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure can be opened to us immortals. As long as we find a mortal hero in the Genius Zone and obtain an immortal key, we will be able to obtain a place to enter the treasure. This is a matter of life and death, causing the immortal world to rejoice. Countless immortals spread the news to celebrate. The importance that the immortal world places on the exploration in a few years is unimaginable. This time, a few supreme immortal emperors from the immortal world came up with a plan to control the overall situation and distribute the places to explore the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, Jia Lanzi said solemnly. Distribute? How does the immortal world distribute? Xiaofan was also very curious. First of all, immortals have to directly descend from the immortal world to an ordinary plane in the lower realm. Immortals with strong immortal power and immortal body cannot descend. Even the space crystal wall of an ordinary plane will collapse and explode once a powerful immortal descends. Therefore, according to the strength of an ordinary plane space crystal wall, the immortal world believes that only level 1 or 2 perfected immortals can descend. Level 1 or 2 perfected immortals' immortal power and immortal body will not cause the space crystal wall to collapse. Moreover, the immortal power of a level 2 perfected immortal cannot exceed 15 dragons. I understand. Xiaofan nodded solemnly. In other words, those who descend this time all have immortal power of 15 dragons or less. It is impossible to exceed 15 dragons. 15 dragons was the limit of immortals who descend. 15 dragons, in the mortal world, was equivalent to 150 trillion ding of power. Xiaofan also had an idea in his heart. Jia Lanzi continued to narrate. The immortal world's plan is to distribute all the places to the various immortal world sections. Then, the various immortal world sects will compete for the extremely precious places. There are countless immortal world sects participating in the competition. Every immortal world sect can obtain a place to descend. They are all the young disciples of the sect. After all, the backbone of the sect. The senior disciples have too much immortal power and can't descend. Only the young disciples can obtain this opportunity. Oh. Brother Jia Lanzi, does that mean you are also an outstanding talent of one of the immortal world sects? Xiaofan asked. Hey, you can say that. In my sect, among the younger generation, my talent and talent are the best in the world. Jia Lanzi nodded slightly. Brother Xiaofan, generally speaking, there are almost no level 1 perfected immortals among the sect's geniuses who descend. They are all eliminated during the selection process. Almost all of them are level 2 perfected immortals with immortal power of 11 to 15 dragons. Among them, according to the information I received, most of them have 11 to 13 dragon immortal force. Those with immortal power of 14 dragons descend. The number is relatively small. Those with immortal power of 15 dragons are even rarer. Oh, I see. Xiaofan said in his heart. I wonder how much dragon immortal power this brother Jialan has. Suddenly, a strange thought flashed through Xiaofan's mind. I don't know what level of true immortal the immortal I met outside the demon metropolis was. According to Brother Jialan, if the immortal power exceeds 15 dragons, he won't be able to descend. Could it be that the immortal who enlightened me was only a level 2 perfected immortal? Xiaofan suddenly asked. Right, Brother Jialanzi, could it be that those with more than 15 dragons, such as level 3 perfected immortals, level 4 perfected immortals, or even immortal emperors, cannot descend? Jialanzi was stunned by Xiaohan's unexpected question, but he still answered. Theoretically, yes. After all, the space crystal wall of the mortal world is too thin and fragile. Although level 1 perfected immortals and level 2 perfected immortals with less than 15 dragons can descend, if they go all out, they can still destroy the space crystal wall of the mortal world. But, if they have a very high realm, reaching the realm of immortal and human unity, they can truly return to their natural state. With the help of some heaven-defying immortal artifacts, they can travel between the mortal world and the immortal world. But there are not more than a few such immortals in the entire immortal world. And these immortal emperors will not be bored and waste their energy to travel to the mortal world to play. For example, a few years later, they will explore the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. The immortal emperors who have the ability to descend have made a pact with each other that they will not descend personally. They are also interested in Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, but they will not do it themselves. They will only send the young talents from the sects under their jurisdiction to compete fairly. Oh, I see. Xiaohan nodded slightly. Brother Xiaohan, Jialanzi's voice suddenly rose a little. Brother Jialanzi, feel free to speak your mind. Xiaohan knew that Jialanzi seemed to want to say something important, so he said politely. Then. Brother Xiaohan, I'll be straightforward. Jialanzi was a straightforward person. If the information I received is not wrong, then Brother Xiaohan has obtained 2 immortal keys in the Genius Zone. One is a blue immortal key, which can allow 70 people to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. The other is a purple immortal key, which can allow 200 people to enter the expedition. The 2 keys add up to 270 spots. Excluding Brother Zhao's spot, there are 269 spots left. Oh, that is indeed the case. Xiaohan nodded. But this time, there are 300 level 2 perfected immortals teleporting to Brother Zhao's realm. Jialanzi looked at Xiaohan meaningfully. The current situation is that there are too many monks and not enough gruel. What's going on? Hearing this, Xiaohan was stunned and immediately frowned. There are more than 200 spots, but there are more than 300 immortals. How are we going to distribute them? Moreover, among these spots, I want to bring some ordinary people in this realm. Moreover, I have also promised some of my friends in other realms to give them spots. How are we going to distribute them now? Brother Xiaohan, this is the reason why I came this time. Jialanzi looked at Xiaohan with burning eyes. My sect conveyed to me that, the distribution of the spots should be decided by Brother Xiaohan. To be continued. Chapter 559. What? Xiaohan will be in charge of allocating the quotas. Jialanzi's words were earth-shattering, shocking Wu Hongyi, Xiao Mingchu, and the rest. Exquan. The quota for immortals to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove was actually decided by Immortal? Could he handle it? Brother Jialan must be joking. Xiaohan couldn't help but laugh at himself. Little brother's words carry little weight. How could immortals be willing to listen to me? Brother Xiaohan, listen to me, Jialanzi said solemnly. The disciples of the immortal world sects that descended from the immortal world to this plane this time are a mix of good and bad. A mix of good and bad? Xiaohan was stunned. Brother Xiaohan, the sects in the immortal world are similar to the sects in the secular world. Some sects had a rather great reputation in the immortal dimension, and they upheld justice and received the love and respect of the people of the immortal dimension. On the other hand, some sects in the immortal dimension were. They had a terrible reputation. Some of their disciples committed crimes in the immortal world. Brother Xiaofan, perhaps you mortals will have some misunderstandings. They thought that the disciples of the various sects in the world of immortals should be upright, sage-like, and carefree and unfettered on cranes. In fact, that wasn't the case. Some of the sects in the world of immortals were actually quite despicable. They even exploited ordinary immortal citizens. In the celestial realm, sects, immortals, and even celestial emperors, there are good and evil. Xiaofan nodded slightly. Where there are people, there will naturally be Jianghu, and there will also be good and evil. In that case, some of the immortals descending to this plane are from sects with bad reputations in the world of immortals. Due to various reasons, they've been granted a spot to descend as well. These immortals usually reside in the world of immortals. Although he was behaving badly. But there were always rules and regulations governing immortals. Thus, they won't be too out of line. But when they reach the secular world, without any restrictions, I'm afraid they will create a storm in the secular world. I've always been worried that such an impetuous immortal would descend and not treat us mortals as humans. Wu Yu interrupted. It seems there really is such a black sheep of the immortal world. Yes, Jia Lanzi said solemnly. The immortal realm isn't as pure as I imagine it to be. There would also be intrigue and deceit. Indeed, a portion of the immortals would be taken away. It was not an exaggeration to call him a black sheep. These immortals would definitely run amok in the secular world. Their characters are extremely vile. If we don't control them, they will do evil things. Jia Lanzi continued. The majority of the immortal emperors above are still strictly against allowing these black sheep to descend in order to prevent them from wreaking havoc in the world. However, there were a few immortal emperors who turned a blind eye. It seemed like he had received some benefits, or perhaps it was out of consideration for his feelings. They actually allowed them to descend. Brother Xiaofan, there are more than 200 slots, but more than 300 immortals have descended to this plane. I have to say, some of the immortal emperors have failed in their duties. Then, before I left, a few benevolent immortal emperors specially instructed me through our sect master that I must control the situation. I cannot allow those black sheep to destroy the stability and prosperity of Brother Zhao's plane. I cannot watch as those fellows torment the mortals. Then, Jia Lanzi looked deeply at Xiaofan. The few big shots have specially instructed that the matter of the slots will be decided by Brother Xiao. Brother Xiao can refuse to give those black sheep who run amok a slot and make them scram out of this plane. As for me, I will assist Brother Xiao to maintain the situation. Oh? Brother Jia Lanzi, what do you mean? Xiaofan also came to a slight realization. At this moment, Jia Lanzi's eyes slightly opened. His eyes flashed with the strange phenomenon of the changing nebula. His eyes seemed to be able to swallow the plane and absorb the 8 desolates. Brother Xiao, don't hold back. The slots will be distributed by you. If there are immortals who are not satisfied, Brother Xiao, please rest assured that I will make them obedient. At this point, Jia Lanzi's aura became even sharper. The few big shots above and my sect master have instructed me to directly execute those immortals who misbehave when necessary. Life and death. Hearing this, Xiaofan, Wu Li, and the others looked at each other. Then, Brother Jia Lanzi, the sect you belong to in the immortal world should be extremely powerful? Fang Ling could not help but ask when he heard Jia Lanzi's words and actions, which were domineering and dictating everything. In the immortal world, the sect I belong to is indeed flourishing. It is known as the strongest sect in the immortal world. It controls countless sects in the immortal world and is highly regarded by the immortal emperors above. Jia Lanzi nodded. So it is a big sect with the support of immortal emperors above. No wonder they would come down to enforce the law and eliminate the immortals sent down by other sections. Various thoughts came one after another in Xiaofan's mind. It sounds nice to say that he wants me to decide the slots to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, but in fact, he is also using me. It is even possible that this Jia Lanzi wants to use this opportunity to eradicate dissidents. This person is definitely a powerful figure. The sect he belongs to must be extremely powerful in the immortal world. Jia Lanzi seemed to have already understood Xiaofan's thoughts. He smiled slightly. Brother Xiao, I am not trying to use you. In fact, the allocation of the slots is still up to Brother Xiao. I am only assisting from the side. If Brother Xiao decides not to give me a slot, I will not make things difficult for Brother Xiao. I will just return to the immortal world. Ha ha ha. At this time, Wuyu spoke. Xiaofan, you cooperate with Brother Jia Lanzi. Huh? Xiaofan was stunned and looked at Wuyu. Wuyu pondered. As Brother Jia Lanzi said, among the immortals who descended to our plane this time, there will definitely be those who commit crimes, and there will definitely be those who are unruly. When they descend, they are no longer under control, and all the desires that have been suppressed in their hearts will be released without restraint. Perhaps in the eyes of these immortals, we mortals are no better than pigs and dogs. Xiaofan, as the master of this plane, you must step forward and stop them. You cannot let the common people be implicated and tormented. Immortals are indeed superior to us mortals, but, well, water does not interfere with river water. If they want to stir up trouble in our mortal world, we will not sit idly by and do nothing. However, Xiaofan, with your current battle strength, it is indeed difficult to contend with those immortals. Therefore, you need to cooperate with Brother Jia Lanzi. Wu Yu's meaning was extremely obvious. To put it bluntly, Xiaofan and Jia Lanzi were just using each other. Because Xiaofan firmly controlled the quota to enter the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, Jia Lanzi could use the excuse of assisting Xiaofan to righteously eradicate dissidents. Those immortals in the immortal world who had conflicts of interest with Jia Lanzi would all be expelled, or even killed. As for Xiaofan, he would not be able to expel those lawless immortals who descended, so he had to rely on Jia Lanzi's strength. In this way, if they chose to cooperate, it would be of great benefit to both sides. Don't worry, Brother Xiaofan. I will hide by your side, and you will act. If you think that the immortals should be expelled, expel them directly. If they know what's good for them, then it's fine. If they are cunning and treacherous, or even resist Brother Xiaofan, then I will make a move and make them scram. Jia Lanzi looked at Xiaofan meaningfully. Moreover, Brother Xiaofan, this way, you will benefit a lot. Huh? Xiaofan was stunned again. Before we left, the big shots above have given instructions. They also think highly of Brother Xiaofan's talent. The number one genius in the mortal world is indeed not to be underestimated. In the future, when you become an immortal, I'm afraid that the big shots will fight to recruit you. Ha ha ha. Therefore, any immortals who are expelled by you but refuse to accept it and want to attack you, I will eliminate them. All the immortal pills and immortal treasures they carry will all belong to Brother Xiaofan. Brother Xiaofan, do you understand what I mean? Is that so? Xiaofan's heart moved. Every immortal who descends will be bestowed with a few treasures by their sections. These treasures can even be called life-saving treasures. After all, the exploration of the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure is a direct competition between the younger generation of immortals. At that time, it will be extremely tragic. In order to increase their competitiveness, the immortal world sects will not hesitate to give their extremely precious treasures to the disciples who represent their sects to compete for Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. In other words, every young immortal who descends to the mortal world will become extremely rich. Jia Lanzi looked at Xiaofan with a faint smile. If they break the law, then their treasures will belong to Brother Xiaofan. So, Brother Xiaofan, are you interested? Brother Xiaofan, don't worry, I will definitely not touch the treasures of these immortals. Moreover, the quality of the treasures of these young immortals will probably surpass the treasures piled up in the Genius Zone. Of course, they definitely cannot be compared to the many divine treasures in the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, but there is no doubt that they will surpass the Genius Zone. Is that so? Hearing this, Xiaohan's heart palpitated. Even the eyes of Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, and the others lit up. Finally, Xiaohan made a decision. Then it's decided. I will cooperate with Brother Jia Lanzi to decide the 269 places to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. Those tyrannical immortals will definitely not give them places, they will be expelled directly. If they resist stubbornly, then Brother Jia Lan will take action and exterminate them. Exactly. Jia Lanzi also smiled. This is also to protect the reputation of the immortal world. We cannot let the mortals misunderstand the character and virtue of us immortals because of some black sheep. After a pause, Jia Lanzi continued. Then, Brother Xiao will choose a day to accompany me to travel the 4 regions and the great wilderness of this plain, and take the initiative to search for immortals who descend. Brother Xiao will give those with good conduct a place, while those with despicable conduct will be expelled directly. Alright. Let's start with the southern region. Xiaohan also smiled and nodded. Take the initiative to search for immortals who descend. Chapter 560. Xiaohan and Jia Lanzi slapped their palms together and made an oath, setting up various treaties of cooperation and alliance. He was preparing to set off and travel around the north, south, east, west, and north regions, as well as the great wilderness. He wanted to find the immortals who had descended from the immortal world to this plane and decide who would be given the quota. As for the immortals who committed atrocities, Jia Lanzi would kill them. All the treasures from the immortal world would belong to Xiaohan. This can be considered as using each other. Cooperating with immortal Jia Lanzi is like asking a tiger for its skin. However, if I think about it carefully, the benefits to me are also great. Xiaohan silently pondered and weighed the pros and cons. Brother Jia Lan, if that's the case, I'll have to trouble you to temporarily stay in my 6 Peaks mountain range for a few days. Once I'm ready, I'll leave the mountain with Brother Jia Lan. Xiaohan said with a smile. It is a blessing to be able to stay in such a beautiful place for a few days, Jia Lanzi said happily. He seemed to like the geomancy of the 6 Peaks mountain range. In that case, let me bring Brother Jia Lanzi to the mountain peak where we receive our guests. That place has a few acres of fish ponds, a few evergreen trees, and a few strands of flowers and grasses. The beauty of nature is extremely close to that of the mortal world. I believe that Brother Jia Lan will definitely like it. Wu Li also said politely. Excellent. Excellent. Jia Lanzi was overjoyed. Night, Xiaohan's true inheritance mountain peak. In the living room. After Mo Qingtong coaxed Xiaohan to sleep, she gently placed him in the cradle. Afterwards, she sat down together with Xiaohan, Princess Mo Hen, Lan Shirong, and Jing Yanxue. Xiaohan had already told his wives about Jia Lanzi's visit and the current situation of the plain. Uncle, I can't believe immortals really came to our Unity Mountain range. I wonder what immortals look like and if they're any different from us mortals. Hee, uncle, I'll go see immortals with my own eyes tomorrow. Although Jing Yanxue had already become a charming young woman, the mischievousness of a young girl had not changed in the slightest. At this moment, her big eyes flashed as she curiously looked at Xiaohan. Yanxue, don't mess around. Why are you going to see immortals? Don't be fooled by the fact that your true chi cultivation is outstanding, but in front of an immortal, you're still too weak. If anything goes wrong, sect master and Xiaofan won't be able to protect you, Mo Qingtong reprimanded him slightly. It's all right. Xiaofan gently embraced Jing Yanxue. Immortal Jialanzi, who came to our Pure Rain sect, is rather friendly. In truth, although immortals are superior to us mortals, the world of immortals is the same as that of us mortals. There will be many battles. Immortals have emotions, desires, and ambitions. Of course, there are also kind-hearted immortals. The most troublesome thing is that more than 300 immortals will descend from the 200 slots. When the time comes, it'll be hard to avoid trouble and conflicts. Moreover, some immortals don't have a good reputation in the world of immortals to begin with. Xiaofan, do you really plan on going down the mountain with Jialanzi to distribute the spots? Immortals are arrogant and unruly. When the time comes, will they make things difficult for you? Mo Qingtong said worriedly. Yes, this person will definitely not listen to my orders and will definitely make things difficult for me. Pestering me endlessly, even threatening and enticing me. Xiaofan laughed. Therefore, I must cooperate with Jialanzi. The key question now is whether or not Jialanzi can protect him. If he can't defeat those infamous immortals, I'll suffer as well. After a pause, Xiaofan became spirited and said seriously. Going down the mountain this time and interacting with immortals is also a kind of training for me. In a few years, the exploration of the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove will inevitably lead to confrontation with immortals. It's not a bad thing to get used to it in advance. My ambition is not just to be the king of this plane. Sooner or later, I will fight with immortals. Being a yes-man and fearful of immortals for my entire life is not my character. Moreover, I will take advantage of this opportunity to obtain immortal treasures. To plunder the treasures of some immortals. Perhaps I can also find an opportunity to increase my battle strength. Right now, my battle strength is far from any of the immortals that descend. If I enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove like this, it's no different from asking for humiliation. Go down the mountain. I've already decided to go down the mountain. I support you. Princess Mo Hen suddenly said firmly. In the next moment, all the girls nodded. In these few days, Jialanzi indeed stayed in the Pure Mountain Range. He was also very easygoing. Every day, he played chess with Wu Du and occasionally expressed his views on mortal martial arts. He got along very well with the upper echelons of the Pure Cloud sect. After Jialanzi saw Xiaohan's son, Xiaoan, he liked him very much and gave a small flying sword to Xiaoan. This flying sword was given to Jialanzi by an elder of the sect when he was young. After refining it with a drop of blood, it could be kept in the body. When fighting, the flying sword could change according to one's will and cut off the head of a person 1,000 miles away. It was very powerful. Of course, Xiaoan was still young and could not refine this flying sword for the time being. The flying sword was kept by his mother, Mo Qingtong. 5 days later. Finally, Xiaohan and Jialanzi were ready and were about to go down the mountain. Many of the Pure Rain sect's true disciples, led by Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, and the others, came to send them off. Their faces were filled with worry and concern. Xiaohan's wives and Yan Lang looked at Xiaohan nervously. Xiaoan also began to cry. Xiaohan, be careful, Wu Du said seriously. Don't advance rashly. The entire plane is centered around you. If anything happens to you, the plane will be in danger. Xiao Mingchu, Fang Ling, and the others were also full of concern. Xiaohan's wives could not help but start sobbing. Ugh, there's no need to make it look like we're parting forever, right? Xiaohan did not know whether to laugh or cry. However, he also deeply felt the concern of his family, and a warm feeling welled up in his heart. Suddenly, Xiaohan said very seriously. Don't worry, I will definitely come back alive. Moreover, the spot to enter the second level of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure is in my body. The immortals will not dare to harm my life. Everyone, please don't worry about Brother Xiao, Jia Lanzi also said solemnly. With me, Jia Lanzi, protecting Brother Xiao, I will definitely protect Brother Xiao. I will not let any other immortals touch a single hair of Brother Xiao. After a pause, Jia Lanzi looked at Xiaofan again. Brother Xiao, let's go. Don't worry, I will release a strand of divine will to protect the pure mountain range. If there is any danger in the pure mountain range, I will be able to teleport over immediately to protect you. Xiaofan nodded slightly. Xiaofan also released a strand of divine will to protect the pure mountain range. If there was any emergency, Xiaofan could move like an illusion and directly return. Just like that, the two reluctantly bid farewell to the pure mountain range and descended the mountain. Xiaofan was dressed in a white robe. His hands were empty, and he did not carry any weapons. However, he wore a few storage rings on his hands. He was calm and composed as he walked in front. As soon as Jia Lanzi descended the mountain, he changed into a thick cloak and a mask. His entire body was covered tightly, leaving only a pair of eyes outside. He walked barefoot, like a monk who had achieved Tao. At this moment, Xiaofan suddenly discovered that Jia Lanzi had already completely concealed all the immortal qi in his body. Not a single trace of it was leaked. His every movement and temperament were completely no different from that of a mortal. Xiaofan clicked his tongue in wonder. He couldn't help but release his divine will to scan Jia Lanzi's body. After careful observation, he discovered that Jia Lanzi's disguise could be said to be perfect. Under Xiaofan's careful observation, he could not find any flaws at all. Even Jia Lanzi's heartbeat, breathing rate, and skin temperature were exactly the same as a mortal's. Brother Xiao, I will hide by your side. When I don't need to make a move, I will be well behaved, hee. Jia Lanzi laughed. That's fine. Xiaofan also nodded. Then, let's start the search from the Pure Mountain Sect's territory in the Beacon Fire Empire. We will search for the immortals scattered in the Beacon Fire Empire. Everything will be decided by Brother Xiao. From this moment on, I will be a pawn by Brother Xiao's side. Jia Lanzi said with a faint smile. At this time, Xiaofan's heart trembled slightly. We are going to search for immortals. Brother Jia Lanzi has no intention of making a move. Does he want me to try and find the immortals scattered everywhere? Is he deliberately testing me? If it was any other mortal, finding 300 immortals in such a large plain would be countless times more difficult than finding a needle in a haystack. But I, Xiaofan, can easily sense immortal qi. Alright, Brother Jia Lanzi, I will let you see the wonders of Xiaofan. You don't need to make a move. Xiaofan, will naturally be able to find the immortals. Thinking of this, Xiaofan's heart settled. Then, he silently released his immortal qi, covering the entire Beacon Fire Empire from all directions. Carefully sensing the immortal qi. And Jia Lanzi was indeed testing Xiaofan on purpose. He wanted to see if Xiaofan could accurately find the immortals among the countless mortals in the vast sea of people. One had to know that the immortals that descended this time would mostly conceal their immortal qi and blend in with the mortal world. To find them would not be an easy task. At this time, Xiaofan's body slightly moved. Then, his immortal qi stopped at the border of the Beacon Fire Empire. In a small city bordering the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire, Xiaofan discovered a faint immortal qi rising. This strand of immortal qi is extremely faint, but it is extremely lively and elegant. If it wasn't because of the talismans left behind by the immortals in my heart and the 10,000 immortal grand formation that is overflowing with immortal qi, causing me to soak in immortal qi for a long time, I definitely wouldn't have discovered it. Yes, there's no mistake. In the small city bordering the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire, there must be an immortal. Brother Jialanzi, this little brother has discovered something. Xiaofan turned around and smiled at Jialanzi. Oh? Jialanzi was surprised. If this little brother didn't guess wrongly, there is an immortal hibernating in the small city bordering the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire. There's no time to lose, let's hurry there immediately. Boom! All of a sudden, the true acupoints on Xiaofan's body overflowed with colorful lights. True Qi soared into the sky and casually transformed into an ice-horn dragon. Xiaofan leaped onto the dragon's head and beckoned to Jialanzi. Brother Jialanzi, come on up. No way. Brother Xiao really discovered an immortal hibernating in the mortal world? It is indeed in the small city bordering the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire. That's right. TSK, Brother Xiao is truly mystical. Among the mortals, no one can compare to you. Jialanzi secretly admired. One man and one immortal, riding on the ice-horn dragon formed from Xiaofan's true qi, flew with the speed of a flowing light towards the small success realm enshrouded with immortal qi. To be continued. Chapter 561. Whoosh! The ice chi dragon turned into a cold flame and crossed the vast territory of the Beacon Fire Empire with extreme speed, heading straight for the Blazing Sun Empire. At this moment, high up in the sky, the heavenly wind roared. The momentum was extremely shocking. Xiaofan stood still on his dragon head, allowing the heavenly wind to blow on his body. The heavenly wind, which could uproot trees and destroy mountains, hit Xiaofan's body like a hammer, but instead, Xiaofan's body directly exploded. The embryonic form of the Thunder God Tyrant body and the Starry Sky Dominator body was no trifling matter. Jialanzi, on the other hand, was calm and at ease. His body did not release any energy fluctuations. However, before the winds reached his body, they quickly separated from his left and right sides. It was a spectacular sight. Brother Xiao, your physique already has a trace of the embryonic form of an immortal body. I'm sure there's a rare special physique in your genes. Amazing, truly amazing. It seemed that Jialanzi did not know that Xiaofan had relied on large amounts of immortal pills to condense the embryonic form of an immortal body. Mortals did not have the fortune to enjoy immortal pills. This was common sense, and Jialanzi naturally would not think in this direction. I'm far from even a level 1 immortal body. What's there to talk about? Xiaofan laughed self-deprecatingly. Brother Xiao, no need to feel inferior. With your talent, becoming an immortal is only a matter of time. Moreover, Brother Xiao has an immortal affinity. There was no doubt about this. To be able to find an immortal hidden in the vast sea of mortals, this was definitely an anomaly. Brother Xiao is a genius with a special sense for immortal qi. This is the foundation of immortal ascension. When Brother Xiao's true qi cultivation reaches the level of opening the heavenly eye. Because you have an immortal affinity. It is easy to comprehend. Welcome the great tribulation of immortal ascension, everything will come naturally. Jialanzi said seriously. Xiaofan only smiled. Brother Jialanzi is too polite. I can sense the aura of immortals in the small cities bordering the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire. However, Brother Jialan and I are so close, yet I am unable to sense the dormant immortal qi on Brother Jialan's body. Brother Jialan is the one with true ability. In the immortal world, you must be a super genius who enjoys a great reputation. Ha, Jialanzi laughed heartily. Brother Xiao thinks too highly of me. Alright, we're almost at the city. I'd like to see which sect's immortal is hiding here, Hidden Dragon City. One of the major cities bordering the southern region's Beacon Fire Empire and Blazing Sun Empire. The people of this city were swift and fierce. Many of them were peddlers and commoners. They cultivated the martial way and had strong bodies. In the past, the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire. Their relationship was not that harmonious. The two countries were at the border. Conflicts were common. Therefore, as the border between the two countries, it was hard for the natives of the Hidden Dragon City not to be tough. Currently, this plain was becoming more and more prosperous. The enmity between the Beacon Fire Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire that had existed for many years had already been completely resolved. The two empires were in harmony, but there were still martial practitioners flying between the two empires from time to time. This caused the flow of people in the dragon-subduing city to be extremely huge. The place was bustling with activity and bustling with activity. At the same time, at a certain street corner in dragon-subduing city, a blue-robed scholar had set up a stall. He hung a white cloth casually and shook his head as he called out. This blue-robed scholar was a fortune-teller. However, he did not have the slightest air of an immortal. Instead, he was listless and listless. His voice was soft and weak. He exuded a languid demeanor. He shook his head, looking like a pedantic poor scholar. Many passers-by, whether they were commoners or martial practitioners, did not stop in front of his stall. This caused him to be completely ignored. Some passers-by even mocked him, fortune-telling. What a joke! Just a poor scholar who failed the imperial examinations and had nowhere else to go. He wants to swindle people here and fish in troubled waters. Ha ha ha. Fate is nothingness. It is the most ever-changing. It is as unreal as the moon in the water. Even in the mortal world, a peerless expert like leader Xiaofan could not predict the fate of others. A lowly fellow dares to spout nonsense and calculate the fate of others. A short-sleeved scholar gently waved his folding fan and said with a chuckle. Sigh. Others laugh at me for being too crazy. I laugh at them for not being able to see through me. The blue-robed scholar had a helpless expression and shook his head again. In this mortal world, there is no one with intelligence. What a pity, ha 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 ha. The short-sleeved scholar waved his fan and laughed loudly at the side. The blue-robed fortune-teller suddenly stopped and glanced at the short-sleeved scholar. Then, he said seriously. Brother, you should hurry back home. Go home? Why would I be in a hurry to go home? The short-sleeved scholar said mockingly. I am here to expose your deceitful tricks. Don't tell me you are cursing my house for being burglarized. That's not true, the blue-robed fortune-teller said seriously. Brother, your official wife is having an affair with another man. Why don't you go home and take a look? Ah ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. As soon as he said this, the passers-by in the surroundings all laughed wildly. Each and every one of them laughed so hard that they were swaying back and forth and gasping for breath. Idiot! You're talking nonsense. The short-sleeved scholar was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He was about to rush over and give the blue-robed fortune-teller a beating. Fortunately, the passers-by in the surroundings stopped him and dragged him away. The short-sleeved scholar walked away while cursing. You're such a pedantic elementary scholar. The moment you open your mouth, you start spouting nonsense. You'd better leave quickly. If he comes back later, he'll definitely beat you to death. A young woman wearing an embroidered gown spat. Wait a moment. This brother is indeed coming to find me. However, he is not going to beat me, but to kneel and thank me. The blue-robed fortune-teller said confidently. Then, he sighed softly. Furthermore, I cannot leave yet. I am still waiting for someone. He should be here soon. Spectators from all directions. They were angry again. They were amused again and dispersed. Whoosh whoosh, Xiaofan and Jia Lanzi had already arrived at Tiger Subdue City. Jia Lanzi was still dressed like a monk. His head and face were completely covered and he walked barefoot in the city. Xiaofan also sealed all the true qi in his body and walked away with his head slightly lowered. In this small border town, there was almost no one who had seen Xiaofan with their own eyes. Moreover, there was no large temple built to worship Xiaofan. This allowed Xiaofan to walk in the city without worry of being surrounded. It's here. Xiaofan nodded his head with absolute certainty. This is the first time I have come out and taken the initiative to find the first immortal. I just don't know if this immortal is good or evil. However, judging from this wisp of immortal qi, it is pure, flawless, and peaceful. He should not be one of those evil black sheep of the immortal world, right? Jia Lanzi only smiled. He did not say much. Xiaofan closed his eyes slightly and gathered his mental energy again. He locked onto the direction of the wisp of immortal qi and walked over. Xiaofan walked 3 steps at a time, heading straight for the wisp of immortal qi, closer. Closer and closer. The immortal hiding in this city is about to surface once I turn a corner. I wonder what the first immortal to take the initiative to find me looks like. I just hope he doesn't get into a fight with me. Xiaofan was a little nervous. At this time, the blue-robed fortune-teller suddenly smiled and said softly, "He's coming." Finally. Xiaofan saw the blue-robed fortune-teller sitting lazily behind the stall. It's him. Xiaofan was extremely certain. An immortal disguised as a fortune-teller. There's no mistaking it. Jia Lanzi stood at the back, not saying a word, not moving an inch. The blue-robed fortune-teller raised his eyes and looked at Xiaofan. Their eyes met, and they actually smiled at each other. Sai fortune-teller, 5,000 years can be calculated, the blue-clothed fortune-teller cried out again, then he shook his head and said, "In such a big world, no one understands me. How sad, how lamentable, mister, please read my fortune for me." Xiaofan smiled and walked over to sit down. Just like that, passers-by stopped in their tracks. Someone actually fell for it. Quick, look. Someone took the bait. Someone asked this swindler to read their fortune. Oh. What do you want to read? The blue-robed fortune-teller looked at Xiaofan with a faint smile. Xiaofan was also very interested. He already knew that the other party was an immortal. Now, this immortal was so good at acting that he wanted to read his fortune. This made Xiaofan want to play around. Moreover, after seeing this immortal with his own eyes, Xiaofan realized that this immortal did not seem to be an immortal who would do whatever he wanted. He was relieved and asked casually, "Then, let me read the future. In a few years, I will face the greatest challenge in my life. I will be competing with many tyrannical people. I want to read the fortune and misfortune. At this time, Wah. Stop hitting me. I won't dare to do it again. I won't steal a man anymore." Suddenly, the sound of a woman's heart-wrenching cries could be heard from afar. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw the short-sleeved scholar with a folding fan, who had just gotten into an argument with the blue-robed fortune-teller. At this moment, his face was tense, and his right hand was dragging the hair of a disheveled woman. As he beat her, he walked toward the blue-robed fortune-teller's stall. "Who told you to steal a man?" Peng, the short-sleeved scholar with the folding fan kicked the woman's waist again. Seeing this scene, the onlookers had already guessed what was going on. Just now, the blue-robed fortune-teller had indeed said that the short-sleeved scholar's wife was having an affair at home and that he wanted the short-sleeved scholar to go home quickly. At that time, everyone laughed and thought that the blue-robed fortune-teller was taking revenge and purposely cursed the short-sleeved scholar. But now, it was true. It was actually true. Damn, this is godly. A group of onlookers were extremely shocked. Oh. From the corner of his eyes, Xiaofan glanced at the short-sleeved scholar with a folding fan and was slightly taken aback. Then, He looked at the blue-robed fortune-teller again and his expression became serious. "Mister, please read my fortune." To be continued. Chapter 562. Xiaofan had originally thought that this blue-robed fortune-teller was just an identity that the Immortal had created to fool around in the mortal world. The so-called fortune-telling was just a pretense. But now, it seemed that was not the case. The short-sleeved scholar with a folding fan had already collapsed in front of the blue-robed fortune-teller's stall. His voice was filled with tears, and he was kowtowing as if he was pounding garlic with his head. "Living Immortal. You really are a living Immortal." Just now, this lowly one's words offended the living Immortal. I hope that the living Immortal will forgive this lowly one's mistake and not take it to heart. Indeed, that bitch of mine was having sex with my neighbor, Zhang Damatzi. When this lowly one went back just now, he happened to see them. The two of them were passionately in love and had a good time. I gave them a good beating and they both confessed. Sigh, it's all in vain that I've been running around all year round. Sigh. I've been on guard day and night. The short-sleeved scholar with a folding fan had fainted from crying and was carried away by the people around him. At this moment, the scene was completely silent. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the blue-robed fortune-teller. Xiaofan said in a serious tone. "Mister, please read my fortune for me." "No problem, no problem." The blue-robed fortune-teller's eyes were also focused. Circles of dazzling halos shot out from his eyes like dazzling gems. "You want to read your fortune and misfortune in the future? Fine. I'll do it for you." You've already gone through a major calamity. Sigh. In your life, one calamity has just passed, and another calamity has arisen. In the next few years, your calamities will be crueler than the one before. Each calamity will be more difficult than the one before. Your fate is full of misfortune. Let me see if you can survive each calamity. The blue-robed fortune-teller's expression became more and more serious. He pinched his fingers together and calculated. Shockingly. The blue-robed fortune-teller. His hands moved faster and faster. He stared at Xiaofan, and his forehead was instantly covered with dense beads of sweat. What? What's going on? I've divined everything in the universe, the past and the future. Why can't I divine your future? I can only vaguely divine that your future will be filled with calamities and misfortunes, but I can't divine whether or not you'll be able to survive those calamities. In fact, to me, your future. What's going on? This. I can't divine it, I can't divine it. The blue-robed fortune-teller's face was filled with panic. His facial features were distorted, and he looked as if he had entered a state of cultivation deviation. Suddenly. Pooh! A mouthful of blood sprayed out from his mouth. Mister, you. Xiaofan was also flustered by the situation. At this moment, Jialanzi, who had been standing at the back, spoke gently. Master Divine Diviner. Why do you have to do this? Xiaofan could vaguely feel that something was amiss. A gentle immortal qi emanated from Jialanzi's body and enveloped the blue-robed fortune-teller. Immediately after, the blue-robed fortune-teller's expression relaxed, and he once again glowed with a gentle luster. He raised his eyes to look at Jialanzi, and his eyes were filled with shock. Then, he said in a low voice, "Forgive my poor eyesight, brother Jialanzi, you've come as well, noon." Xiaofan, Jialanzi, and the blue-robed fortune-teller sat in a private room of an elegant restaurant in dragon-subduing city. The table was filled with delicacies. The blue-robed fortune-teller, the divine diviner, devoured the delicacies on the table like a gust of wind. His table manners were extremely unsightly. This. Divine diviner, you're an immortal after all. Can you not eat in such an unsightly manner? Jia Lanzi took off his cloak and revealed his true appearance with a wry smile. The delicacies of the mundane world are truly unbearable. In fact, they're not inferior to the delicacies of the celestial realm. Xiaofan, I didn't expect you to be with Jia Lanzi. The divine diviner wiped the grease from the corner of his mouth and looked at Xiaofan again. How strange. I, the divine diviner, am a disciple of the divine diviner sect in the celestial realm. In terms of fortune-telling, no one can surpass me among the younger generation of immortals, but I can't divine Brother Zhao's fate. It seems like Brother Zhao's future is beyond our control. I can even divine the fate of immortals, but why can't I divine the fate of a mortal? Jia Lanzi smiled and said, let nature take its course. Don't force it. Let's get straight to the point. Master Godly Diviner, we came to Xiaofan's realm to get a spot to enter the second level of the Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure. Therefore, we have to respect Xiaofan and not force him. This is the will of my sect, as well as the will of the big shots above. Divine Diviner, there are a total of 300 immortals who have come to Xiaofan's realm, but there are only 200 spots. It's up to Xiaofan to decide how to distribute the spots. Do you have any objections? The divine diviner licked his lips and said, of course I have no objections. Since it's the will of your sect and the higher-ups, I, the divine diviner, naturally won't dare to stand out. I'll comply. Good. Jia Lanzi smiled warmly and looked at Xiaofan. Brother Xiao, it's up to you whether or not to give the divine diviner a spot. Oh. Xiaofan was taken aback. All of a sudden, Master God Diviner rose to his feet and bowed deeply to Xiaofan. Brother Xiao, I'm Master God Diviner, a disciple of the Divine Diviner sect in the immortal world. It took a great deal of effort, including the sect master and the elders, to open a space-time tunnel that allowed me to teleport here. I'm truly burdened with the responsibility of revitalizing the sect. I hope Brother Xiao will be lenient and grant me a spot. I'll be eternally grateful. Divine Diviner, you don't have to do this. Xiaofan could never have guessed that Master God Diviner, an immortal whose battle prowess and position in the immortal world couldn't match up to Jia Lanzi, would actually lower himself to a mortal. What a strange person. Divine Diviner, please take a seat, Xiaofan said graciously. The divine diviner was very nervous, but he still sat down. It's like this. Xiaofan said, calculating in his mind. There are 269 spots on my side. Among them, in my plane of existence, there are 39 spots for mortals, and some of the most outstanding people in this plane would like to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to try their luck with immortality. I've also promised 30 spots to mortal heroes from other planes. In other words, there are 200 spots for you immortals. Gasp. Master Divine Diviner gasped. More than 300 immortals fighting for 200 spots, that's not good. Too many monks, not enough gruel, then. Master Divine Diviner looked at Xiaofan with tears in his eyes. Brother Xiao, about the spots, could you make an exception? Ha 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 ha. Xiaofan burst into laughter. Master God Diviner, you're a kind immortal, and you've never done anything evil in the mortal world. There's no reason for me not to give you a spot. Besides, you're the first immortal I've ever taken the initiative to find. You're very lucky. That's fine. What? You're really giving me a spot? Master Divine Diviner cried out in joy. Brother Xiao, you're a true friend. Ha ha ha. Xiaofan, have you decided to give Master Divine Diviner a spot? Jia Lanzi asked. It's decided then. Xiaofan didn't hesitate. Very well. Jia Lanzi took out a jade tablet and a jade pen, then began to carefully inscribe. Master Divine Diviner, I'll record down your spot now. In these few years, if you don't commit any crimes in this realm, then before you enter the second level of the Immortal Emperor's treasure vault, Xiaofan and I will inform you to come to the Unity Mountain Range and meet us. Yes, I'll follow the rules, Master Divine Diviner hurriedly said. After lunch, Xiaofan and Jia Lanzi continued on their way to find the next immortal to decide whether or not to give him a spot. Master Divine Diviner didn't follow them. He stayed in Hidden Dragon City to read the fortunes of mortals. With his godly skills, he had already gained the recognition of the locals and passers-by in the Hidden Dragon City. Presumably, in the next few years, the godly diviner would become a glorious legend in the Hidden Dragon City, a legend that would be talked about enthusiastically in the future. Brother Xiao, you should be able to handle the distribution of spots now, right? Jia Lanzi smiled. It's simple indeed. Xiaofan smiled lightly. But the first one I met was Master Divine Diviner. He's gentle and easygoing, so giving him a spot is only natural. But not every immortal that descends is like Master Divine Diviner. Let's continue. Jia Lanzi nodded slightly, then put on his cloak again, covering his face and aura perfectly. Whoosh! Xiaofan activated his true qi again, conjuring a glacial dragon. The two stood on its head and flew out of Hidden Dragon City. Soon, the glacial dragon crossed the border of the Fire Beacon Empire and entered the Blazing Sun Empire. Xiaofan sat cross-legged on the glacial dragon's head, his psychic waves spreading out as he carefully sensed the immortal qi closest to him. He'd already found the first immortal, Master Divine Diviner. To Xiaofan, finding him again was a piece of cake. No immortals have descended in the Blazing Sun Empire. Xiaofan's psychic waves extended out of the Blazing Sun Empire. He began to search in the Ravager Empire bordering the Blazing Sun Empire. Brother Zhao's divine ability has saved me a lot of effort, Jia Lanzi praised from the side. Xiaofan smiled wordlessly and continued his search. Finally, hard work paid off. In the southern domain, in the Ami Empire, Xiaofan found his second target. Let's go, Ami Empire. Xiaofan willed, and the glacial Qi dragon flew towards the Ami Empire, carrying one person and one immortal. The southern domain. The Ami Empire. The Imperial City. Compared to the Fire Beacon Empire and the Blazing Sun Empire, the Ami Empire was considered a weak empire. Even the Imperial City, in its core region, did not seem all that rich. At this time, in the Imperial City, the passers-by on the streets and alleys were all deeply worried, frustration and depression blossoming in the depths of their eyes. Men and women, old and young, all had ashen faces. Sigh, ever since that person came to our Ami Empire, we've really suffered. Sigh. An old woman stood outside a tavern, looking around. The tavern was empty. A young girl next to her quickly pulled the old woman in and whispered, "Mother, don't talk nonsense. Mother, don't talk nonsense. Be careful of being heard by that person, then we'll be in trouble." To be continued. Chapter 563. The Southern Region. The Ami Empire. The Imperial City. Dong dong dong, the noon bell rang in the Ami Empire's Imperial City. It lasted for a long time. This bell sound, if it was in the past, was extremely warm and heartwarming. It represented that the people who had been busy for the whole morning could go home and eat a hot lunch in peace. The men who worked hard to make a living could take advantage of lunch time to go home and have a short reunion with their wives or take a nap. As for the wives at home, they would prepare a table of sumptuous delicacies for their husbands who worked hard outside to entertain them. It also showed the virtuousness of housekeeping. At this moment, the noon bell was like a plague that swept through the entire Ami Empire's Imperial City. The streets and alleys were in chaos. The sounds of lamentation, curses, and the crackling of pots and pans in the houses were endless. The entire Imperial City was in a foul atmosphere. Next, a scene that was rarely seen in 100 years appeared in the Ami Empire's imperial city. Only to see, boom boom boom, from the attics and bungalows in the streets and alleys, commoners dashed out one after another. Each commoner carried a plate that was filled with all kinds of food and wine: chicken, duck, fish, dried fruits, seasonal vegetables, self-brewed wine. Some old, fat, rich landlords from wealthy families urged their manservants to carry roasted whole lamb and roasted suckling pig to the direction of the imperial palace. They even urged them to hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. It's lunchtime. If we make that person unhappy, if we don't eat as scheduled, we're going to suffer. As for some slightly poorer families, they couldn't bring out too sumptuous delicacies. However, they still filled a large pot with vegetables and white rice and rushed towards the imperial city. Soon, there was a long queue outside the gate of the imperial city. Countless commoners brought a large amount of food. They lined up in an orderly manner and then entered the imperial city one by one. The soldiers guarding the gate also had a look of bad luck on their faces. As they let the commoners through, they cursed in their hearts, "Tell me, who did our Ami Empire offend? Why did we bump into such a god of plague? Damn it! It's easy to invite the devil in, but hard to send him away." Sigh. Don't complain. If it wasn't for that person taking action in time, who knows how many people would have been killed by the remaining demons in the imperial city. Yes. That person helped us exterminate the remnants of the demon race, so we ought to repay him. But if we continue to eat like this, it won't be long before our country perishes. I'll be eaten alive by him. Your Majesty, you are already trying to persuade that person to go to other places to eat. The southern region is so big. There are countless countries that are more prosperous than our Ami Empire. I hope that person is willing to listen to us and go to other empires to cause trouble. The imperial city of the Ami Empire. Imperial Palace. At this moment, a man with a fat head and big ears was sitting on a dragon throne. In front of him was a long table with a mountain of delicacies piled on it. It's time for lunch. Ha 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 ha. I'm starving. The fat man stared at the delicacies on the table and swallowed his saliva. Then, he stood up and rubbed his hands together as he spoke to a middle-aged man in a dragon robe. Your Majesty, then. I'm going to start. I won't be polite then. Ha ha ha. This. Mr. Tao Tai, please enjoy your meal. The middle-aged man in a dragon robe smiled bitterly. Ha ha ha. The fat man let out a satisfied laugh. Then, he opened his mouth. Boom! The table full of roasted lamb, fruits, rice, vegetables, and tofu were all swallowed by him in one gulp. No one saw how he ate it. In the blink of an eye, the table full of food was empty, leaving only the leftovers. Then, a group of servant girls quickly rushed forward and cleaned up the chopping board. Then, the people who were carrying the food lined up and quickly placed the food back on the chopping board. The fat man was extremely ferocious. He ate an entire table of food in one bite. Moreover, he did not stop at all. It was as if his stomach was a bottomless pit that could never be filled. This manner of eating caused the emperor and the civil and military officials in the palace to be dumbfounded. They were as shocked as clay statues and wood carvings. Your Majesty, this. Some of the ministers hurriedly signaled the emperor with their eyes. The emperor gritted his teeth and hesitated for a moment, but he still stepped forward bravely and walked towards the fat man who was crazily eating. The emperor said hesitantly, Mr. Tao Tai, these coarse foods are they to your liking? Wu ba ji ba ji ba ji ba ji. Mr. Tao Tai was still crazily devouring, and while chewing, he grunted. It's too delicious. The delicacies of the human world suit my taste, they really suit my taste. Ha 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 ha. In the past, he was bound by many rules and couldn't eat to his heart's content like this. But now, he finally had such an opportunity. Ha ha ha. I can eat in peace for a few years. Ah ha 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 ha. A few years? The emperor almost fainted from fright. He quickly said. Cough cough, Mr. Tao Tai, our Ami kingdom is a poor kingdom in the southern region. The food that we have been offering to Mr. Tao Tai these days is too coarse, it is really not worthy of Mr. Tao Tai's status. I apologize for making things difficult for Mr. Tao Tai, those real delicacies are actually in the other empires. I heard that the Blazing Sun Empire is rich in seafood. There are prawns that are 10 feet long, there are also black-boned chickens. In the Longhua Empire, there is a type of antelope, the Chuxiong Empire has delicious dog meat, oh? Tao Tai paused for a moment, then grabbed a large jar of self-brewed fruit wine and gulped it down in 2 or 3 mouthfuls. Then, he wiped his mouth and continued to crazily eat. Troublesome. It's very troublesome to move to another place. Now that I can barely eat my fill, I might as well not go to other empires. I'll just stay here in Ami Kingdom and eat peacefully for a few months. Peng, the emperor fell headfirst onto the ground. Your Majesty! Your Majesty! A group of civil and military officials, as well as the concubines of the 3 palaces and 6 courtyards. A servant girl. He immediately rushed forward, the emperor fainted. Imperial physician. Imperial physician. This is the Ami Kingdom's imperial city. Why is it in such a mess? It's a complete mess. Xiaofan and Jia Lanzi had already arrived at the Ami Kingdom's imperial city. At this time, Xiaofan found a cloak and a bamboo hat and covered his face with a mask, so as not to reveal his identity. Oh. It's actually that guy hiding in the Ami Kingdom's imperial city. Ha ha ha. At this time, Jia Lanzi also shook his head, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Xiaofan looked at the chaotic scene. His gaze focused in the direction of the imperial city, and Xiaofan could clearly feel strands of immortal qi rising from within the imperial city. And from all directions, some of the common people were staggering towards the imperial city, while others were crying and turning back from the direction of the imperial city. Xiaofan said with a slight frown. The immortal hibernating in this Ami kingdom seems to have an extremely bad character. That godly diviner, at least in the dragon-subduing city, does not interfere with the common people of this plane, and is harmless. Moreover, his fortune-telling and physiognomy are also merits. And this immortal, actually caused such a huge commotion. Heh. I'm afraid that immortal can't escape responsibility for the chaos here. After a pause, Xiaofan looked at Jia Lanzi. Brother Jia Lanzi, you seem to know the immortal hiding in this city? Is this person someone with a bad reputation in the immortal world? Not really a bad reputation. In short, he's a weirdo. Jia Lanzi laughed involuntarily. As for what that guy has done in this imperial city, Brother Xiao can find someone to ask. If Brother Xiao thinks that guy has gone too far, then you cannot give him a place to enter the 2nd level of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure. Xiaofan nodded slightly, and then directly pulled an old man who was frowning. Old master, what exactly has happened in the imperial city? Damn it! We've suffered a great crime. The old man directly cursed and complained. In an ordinary house in the Ami Kingdom's imperial city, damn it. You too, this old man will tell you. The old man's spittle flew as he narrated to Xiaofan and Jia Lanzi. Originally, there were many demon clans in our plane, and the world was not peaceful. However, a few years ago, a monstrous genius appeared in our plane. His name was Xiaofan. In short, Xiaofan led the way and eliminated most of the demon clans in our plane. This caused our plane to be peaceful everywhere. However, there are still a few demon clans in our Ami Kingdom's imperial city that were not completely eliminated. In recent years, these demon clans have been hiding, occasionally coming out to commit crimes. Their whereabouts are extremely secretive. Some demons came from above, but they were not able to find these hidden demon clans. However, a few days ago, a character came. That guy, a fat head and big ears, with a pig-like face. When he came here, he clearly said that there were demon clans in our imperial city. He found His Majesty and made a deal with His Majesty. If he could help us eliminate these demon clans, then our Ami kingdom must let him live in the imperial city and offer him food every day. His Majesty thought to himself, what's the point of offering food? As long as he can eliminate the demon clans that are wreaking havoc in the imperial city, even if he wants a mountain of gold and silver, we have to give it to him. In the end, this guy was really capable. He directly found those demon clans and killed them one by one. He gave us a clean and bright world. We celebrated with the whole country. We warmly welcomed that guy. However, a disaster came along with it. That guy can eat too much. You too, guess how much he can eat every meal? The old man stared at Xiaofan and Jialanzi with wide eyes. This. Xiaofan choked. He should be able to eat a lot, right? Let this old man tell you, that guy only used 3 days. Just like that, he ate up all the food in the palace warehouse. On the 4th day, he ate all the pigs, cows, and sheep in the imperial farm. From the 5th day onwards, the citizens of our imperial city must carry food from their homes to the imperial city every noon to worship him. The old man gritted his teeth in hatred. If this continues, our Ami kingdom will perish in less than a month. It can't be. Directly eating across an empire? Xiaofan was also shocked. To be continued. Chapter 564. Xiaofan was baffled by the old man's description. He had never heard of such a gluttonous fellow. In just a few days, he had eaten all the food in the royal warehouse and all the livestock in the royal farm. What kind of concept was this? He was going to devour the entire world. However, Xiaofan thought about it again. That fellow was an immortal who had descended. Naturally, he could not be measured with common sense. He could not be measured with the eyes of mortals. Xiaofan was extremely speechless as he sent a mental message to Jialanzi. Brother Jialanzi, I didn't think that you immortals could eat so much. Brother Xiao, I have already said that this person is a weirdo. He is a famous existence in the immortal world. You must not generalize him. For example, I will definitely not be able to eat 1/10,000th of his food. Oh, no, 100,000th. Jialanzi also smiled as he sent a voice transmission. After a pause, Jialanzi sent a voice transmission. Brother Xiao, whether you give this weirdo a spot to enter the 2nd level of the Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure depends on you. Let's not talk about the spot for now. At the very least, we have to stop him from eating like this. Otherwise, the Ami Empire will really perish. Xiaofan directly stood up and bid farewell to the chattering old man. Damn it, it's really easy to invite a god but hard to send him away. The bad thing is that our emperor made an oath with that fellow in advance to provide him with food and shelter for free. Now that he has helped us eradicate the demon race, if we drive him away, we will be in the wrong. Sigh, this matter cannot be blamed on His Majesty. Who would have thought that he would be such a glutton? The old man was still frantically venting his dissatisfaction. Xiaofan and Jialanzi walked out. In the afternoon, the Ami Empire's imperial city finally restored some order after lunch. However, the passers-by on the streets were all dejected and there were some complaints. Xiaofan and Jialanzi walked side by side in the direction of the imperial city. Brother Jialan, although this weirdo didn't commit any crimes or harm civilians, eating and drinking like this is still a kind of harm to the people of me country. Just now, I saw some poor families even take out some of the food they had stored in their house during the holidays to offer it to that weirdo. Looking at those poor families, their own families have to endure hunger, but they have to offer the best food to that weirdo. I feel sad. Xiaofan was a little indignant, but he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But then again, this weirdo has indeed contributed to the Ami kingdom. I've killed a remnant of the demon race that has brought disaster to a region. I really need to carefully consider this quota. Brother Xiao, there is no need to feel conflicted. Let's head to the Imperial Palace first and see that weirdo in person before making a decision, Jia Lanzi added with a faint smile. However, it would be a pity to strip that weirdo of his spot. Oh? Xiaofan was stunned. Jia Lanzi said seriously. This person's name is Tao Meizi. He's the most outstanding genius among the younger generation of a mid-tier sect in the immortal world. Why do you think he can eat so much? It's because he has a special gene in his bloodline. The bloodline of the ancient Tao Tai. Jia Lanzi became more and more serious. In the immortal world, as long as an immortal has a special bloodline, their battle prowess far surpasses those of the same level. The ancient Tao Tai devours all things, and its body is like an abyss, unfathomable. Tao Meizi seems to have awakened the Tao Tai gene in his bloodline, so he can destroy a city and a country with one bite. This guy has entered the second level of the immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove, and he will most likely gain something. Forget it, I can't break the rules just because of Tao Meizi's extraordinary talent. Whether to give Tao Meizi the quota or not, it's up to Brother Xiao. If Brother Xiao decides not to give him the quota, and he resists, I will teach him a lesson. Let's enter the Imperial Palace and see that Tao Meizi face to face. Xiaohan's eyes also showed some pondering. He seemed to be thinking of a good plan to deal with Tao Meizi. Ami Kingdom. Imperial Palace. Your Majesty. Your Majesty. An important official rushed in anxiously and knelt on one knee. Your Majesty, Xiaofan has arrived at the Imperial Palace with Cha Xiu. He said that he wants to see Mr. Tao Meizi. What? Xiaofan has come. The Emperor was surprised and happy. At this time, the surrounding officials all cheered and danced. Your Majesty, could it be that Xiaofan has heard that Mr. Tao Meizi is a little inappropriate in our country, so he personally intervened? Great. It's easy to invite a god in, but it's hard to send him away. We can't do anything to Mr. Tao Meizi, but Xiaofan has come. Great. Misfortune will finally leave. Let Mr. Tao Meizi go and harm other empires. But, Your Majesty, isn't this inappropriate? After all, Mr. Tao Meizi is our Ami Kingdom's benefactor. If we expel him now, isn't it like burning the bridge after crossing the river? We can't let Mr. Tao Meizi continue to eat like this. At most, in 10 days or half a month, our country will perish. Dear ministers, there's no need to say more. Now, I will personally welcome Xiaohan and Cha Xiu and take him to see Mr. Tao Meizi. I hope that the two of them will not have any disputes. Peace is precious, peace is precious. The Emperor went out to greet them. However, Xiaohan and Cha Xiu are like the sun in the sky in our plain. I don't know which sect Mr. Tao Meizi is from, or perhaps he is a demon from the Hero Tower. In short, he should give Xiaohan and Cha Xiu face, right? Ami Empire. Imperial Garden. After enjoying a sumptuous lunch, Tao Meizi sat on a soft chair with a golden saber, sprawled out like a pile of meat. He burped contentedly, drinking iced sour plum juice and eating fruits. Of course, the fruits he ate were piled up like a mountain. Burp burp, Tao Meizi burped and patted his bulging belly. He was so happy that he kept roaring. Ah! Comfortable. Really comfortable. This world is much happier than the immortal world. No one is controlling me. There are still a few years before the second layer of the treasure of Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor is opened. I, Tao Meizi, can still be happy for a few years. Hey, when the time comes, I'll go find Xiaofan and ask for a place directly. Well, I don't know what delicacies Xiaofan will use to entertain me. How can this Ami Empire become poor because of me? Well, I have here. As he spoke, Tao Meizi rummaged through his storage ring and found some top-grade immortal jades, which were shining brightly. These are the top-grade immortal jades I found in the immortal world. When the time comes, I'll give some to the king of the Ami Empire. It should be enough to compensate for the food I've eaten, right? He. I'm too lazy to go anywhere else. I'll just stay here for a while and enjoy the happiness of the world. Just as Tao Meizi was enjoying the beautiful time after the meal, Mr. Tao Meizi. Mr. Tao Meizi. There's a distinguished guest who wants to see you. A eunuch hurriedly ran over. Oh. Distinguished guest. Tao Meizi raised his body slightly. At this time, the emperor of the Ami Empire had already bowed and led Xiaofan and Jia Lanzi into the imperial garden. Well, your majesty, all of you can leave now. I have some important matters to discuss with Mr. Tao Meizi. Xiaofan said indifferently. Yes. The emperor hurriedly nodded and said yes. However, before leaving, he still mumbled. Xiaofan, although Mr. Tao Meizi's appetite is a little big, but Mr. Tao Meizi is also a good person. He has helped our Ami Empire, and he is very kind. He has never argued with us. I know what I'm doing. Xiaofan nodded slightly. In the imperial garden, the emperor withdrew with the miscellaneous people. In the large garden, only Xiaofan, Jia Lanzi, whose face was covered and whose breath was like wood and stone, and Tao Meizi, who had a blank face, were left. Oh. Tao Meizi looked at Xiaofan very innocently, then smacked his lips and said. You are very strong. Among the mortals, you are one of the strongest. Perhaps invincible. But, do you know me, Tao Meizi? Why are you looking for me? Could it be that you want to give me good food and wine? Mr. Tao Meizi, let's get straight to the point. I am Xiaofan. Xiaofan smiled slightly. You are an immortal from the immortal world. After a few years, you will enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, right? Xiaofan. You are Xiaofan. All of a sudden, Tao Meizi directly jumped up from the soft chair. His huge body shook and burst out with a thunderous roar. Xiaofan used his spiritual wave to slightly penetrate into Tao Meizi's body. Suddenly, Xiaofan felt that he was not facing a living creature, but a bottomless abyss. Tao Meizi's body was like an abyss, like the sea, like a black hole in the universe, like a world, incomparably huge and endless. After Xiaofan's spiritual wave penetrated into it, it lingered for a long time, unable to find the edge of the cliff. Really magical. Xiaofan praised in his heart. Brother Jialan is right. This person must be much more powerful than the immortals of the same realm. However, Xiaofan's face was very cold. Mr. Tao Meizi, you should know that after a few years, the quota to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure is in my hands. This, of course I know, of course. Hearing this, Tao Meizi suddenly became very anxious. He even showed some nervousness. He subconsciously rubbed his hands and said. Xiaofan. Xiaofan, my friend, your face seems to be a little serious. Oh, are you blaming me for not taking the initiative to visit you? Oh. Xiaofan was directly stunned by Tao Meizi's attitude. Xiaofan never thought that Tao Meizi would be so amiable. In front of him, there was even a kind of uneasiness, like a child's restraint. He did not seem to be arrogant at all. This guy is really a fool. Unconsciously, Xiaofan had a trace of a good impression of this Tao Meizi. However, Xiaofan's face was still very cold and stern. The quota is in my hands. I, Xiaofan, want whoever gets the quota. I, Xiaofan, will not allow any immortal to enter the second layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. He will not be able to enter. Mr. Tao Meizi, you have to know that you are not the only immortal that descended this time. More than 300 immortals, competing for 200 quotas. No, now there are only 199 quotas left. Each quota is very precious. Is that so? On Tao Meizi's smooth and broad forehead, fine beads of sweat seeped out. He became more and more nervous. There are only 199 quotas left? This. Brother Xiaofan, you must give me, Tao Meizi, a quota. If you don't give me a quota, when I return to the sect, those old guys will starve me for a year and a half. That would be worse than death. He. Give you a quota? Xiaofan pretended to be very cold and stern and raised his voice. If the immortals that descended this time want to get a quota, they must abide by the rules of this plane. They must not commit crimes or commit crimes. Once they commit a crime, there will be no quota for them. Mr. Tao Meizi, in this Ami Empire, you destroy the livelihood of mortals and eat and drink for free. Do you think that you should get a quota from me? Hearing Xiaofan's words, Tao Meizi's whole body trembled in fear. He hurriedly defended himself. Brother Xiaofan, I did not commit crimes. You. Listen to my explanation. You must listen to my explanation. It's a misunderstanding. Brother, everything is a misunderstanding. I did not eat and drink for free, right? I killed a few remnants of the demon clan on behalf of the mortals of this country. They personally promised to provide me with food and drink. Besides, I also prepared to give them some compensation. As he spoke, Tao Meizi took out a lot of supreme-grade immortal jades from his storage ring. Xiaofan pondered for a moment. Mr. Tao Meizi, no matter how you quibble, in short, many poor families have indeed been badly battered by you. Some families have become more and more destitute. All of this was caused by you. No, it was all caused by your mouth. I was really wrong. Tao Meizi swallowed his saliva, his eyes extremely confused. Brother, about the quota, can we discuss it again? Don't worry, as long as you promise to give me a quota, I will immediately leave the Ami Empire. Moreover, I will give enough compensation to the monarch of this country. Oh. I didn't expect that Mr. Tao Meizi also has a heart of repentance. At this time, Xiaofan changed the topic. Mr. Tao Meizi, as you said, you are not completely without merit. At least, you have vanquished the demons for the Ami Empire, which can be regarded as getting rid of evil for the people. Moreover, your character is very, very simple. I also hit it off with you. How about this, if you can atone for your sins now, then it is not too late. I can also give you a quota, and there is no harm in making friends with you. Atone. Tao Meizi's eyes shone with golden light. Of course, I am willing to atone for my sins. Brother Xiaofan, thank you for giving me, Tao Meizi, this opportunity. So, how can I atone for my sins? Well. Xiaofan's eyes kept moving, his expression like a fox showing its tail. If you have any immortal pills or immortal medicines, take some out, it will be considered atonement. Good. Brother Xiao. So, you want to take this opportunity to extort Tao Meizi, the immortal world's idiot. Ha 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 ha. A mortal extorting an immortal, this is really unprecedented. Ha ha ha. Brother Xiao, you have it. Hearing this, Jia Lanzi had already guessed Xiaofan's idea, so he directly sent a soul message to Xiaofan, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. With Tao Meizi's character, he will definitely fall into Brother Zhao's trap. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.